The zone, looks to the point, finds O'Leary, goes to the left circle, backdoor feed, Osmondson, pass in front, save it, rebound, scores! The Chesapeake native has done it. He's got the crowd on their feet, sends them into a frenzy. It's 1-0 Admirals.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another installment of 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wherever you're tuning in, you can interact with us through all the various platforms, IG, Twitter, or as people now call it, X more commonly, Facebook, VirginiaPreps.com, LinkedIn, and of course the YouTube again at CoVA Sports TV, as we say hello to all of you out there on this particular Saturday, Mother's Day weekend, the 10th day of May, the year 2025. How are you, sir?
Good Saturday. Feel good. Yeah, ready to roll. And yes, Mother's Day, people out there, do not forget mom. And how about a little bit more than just lunch and or dinner? Let's do a lot more for the moms, because irreplaceable. And speaking as one who does not have mom anymore, at least to talk to whatever, it is not the same. So if you've got some grief with mom, get it fixed, get it straight, get it right, and have a great Mom's Day with mom.
Amen. And a lot going on in the world of sports. Of course, last week we both came awful close. It was not our horse that won it, but Sovereignty got it done at the Kentucky Derby, which is not going to run for all three legs of the Triple Crown, which include the Preakness and the Belmont. It'll be absent in the next race. We'll take the field of the Belmont. I'm sure you have some thoughts and takes on that. You have the hockey and basketball playoffs in full swing. On the local front, you see the Norfolk Admirals, Kelly Cup playoffs. They even things up with Trois-Rivières. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably butchered it. The team from Quebec, which I understand you were there for the loss and you were not there for the win. So if they keep you away from scope, good things happen. You make it to scope, not so many good things happen.
I think it was Thursday night. Went
that would
to
be the night before, yes.
And it was not good. I think it was 5-0, and they scored within like 18 seconds or a minute, something like that, and it was just disaster from there on in. So it was not a good one to watch. I thought the team from Quebec is bigger, stronger than the Admirals. And they kind of play a little dirty too. I mean, when the ref's not looking, I thought I noticed them playing a little bit dirty. Not a whole lot of fights. The worst fight was just as we were getting ready to leave. I think it was about 2-3 minutes ago in the game. And all of a sudden, boom, we hear a lot of commotion and whatever. We're out in the quarter and we see on the screen that there was a fight right at the end. But I'm glad they won last night. That's all that counts. 2-2 the series. When they play again tomorrow, right?
Sunday night? Sunday. That is the correct. Their next game they will be in action before they head back to Quebec, as they were able to get that win. As you saw the goal when we started the show with Weston DeWitt on the call. Brandon Osmondson, he of Chesapeake, getting it done. Goaltender Thomas Milicic was great for them. 5:05 Eastern start when they dropped the puck and hit the ice at Scope on Mother's Day. So if you want to take mom or your special lady, whoever it might be, it doesn't have to be mom or special lady, you can go on out there to Scope for that coming up on Sunday before the series moves back to Canada.
Yeah, I've got some things I got to do tomorrow, but if I get them done quick enough, at 5 o'clock start comes quick, I'm gonna try to make it.
Okay. You tell everybody what section. Will you tell everybody what section you're sitting in?
No.
No, you're not signing autographs. You're not doing handshakes.
It's not autographs. All the kids want to come over and harass me, so can't do that. And plus, I can't divulge. people want to know who I was with at the game. So I'm going to keep that hidden for a while too. So
okay. Well, I didn't. I'm just, other people tell me that you're there, and it gets back to me. That's how this works. So
you got your plants all over.
Oh, I have my sources. I have my sources.
I was watching.
In all different places. They're on the little walkie-talkies and they're saying, Roger that, Young's over here, section 218. Yeah.
I tell you, the game I really want to go see is Hurricanes and Capitals.
Why is that? Why do you want to see that so bad?
I like the Admirals games, and that's minor league hockey. So now I've got to see what the big boys play like.
Okay.
And I'm just intrigued by it. I'm not a major hockey follower, but I have my favorites. But I was looking at tickets yesterday.
I'm sure you were.
They play in Raleigh tonight.
Yeah, it's one of your favorite places in North Carolina.
Yeah, Raleigh ain't bad. Not as good as Charlotte, but Charlotte don't have a team. And I could not believe the ticket prices. The cheapest I saw sitting near the roof.
Well, you're cheap, but go ahead.
$202.
Well, that's not as bad as the Knicks tickets for Game 3 against the Celtics today at the Garden. I think the cheapest they have going there are $700 plus. I'm serious, to get in the building.
It's absolute, as somebody once said, ludicrous.
We could have put you with a little CoVA Sports TV lantern and gotten you into either facility if you had planned this out properly and reached out to the proper channels, and this could have all been taken care of. We could have had you with one of those little microphones. You wouldn't have to have walkie-talkie, a little microphone, and we could have you correspondent Edward V, as in Victory, and Vincent Young on the scene. And you could get interviews right there outside the locker rooms. You could talk to Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. You could talk to whoever you want to talk to from the Carolina Hurricanes. It could be Seth Jarvis or Sebastian Aho. It doesn't matter who you really want to talk to, but we could have just set you up and you would have been, ready to roll.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was listening to, of course, the Mad Dog Chris Russo's show yesterday in my driving around, and somebody had called him and said, "Are you going to the Celtic Knick game today?" And he said he kind of would like to, but he had some other things to do. Then he said, "I don't have a ticket." And the caller was like, "What do you mean ticket? You're Chris Russo." And he goes, "What does that mean?" He said, "Well, you're part of ESPN and that. You can easily get a ticket." He said, "Don't work that way." He said, "It's too late to get a credential because you have to get the credentials like 48 hours at a time."
Right. Well, but you're not listening. I said if you had planned this out properly in advance, you can't just on a whim, which, by the way, folks, that's how Ed Young likes to operate. He likes to do things on a whim.
I'm spontaneous.
Oh, yeah, you are.
I'm very spontaneous.
Yeah.
Now, because see, everybody knows I like free, and you're the one that complains when I say I want.
Yeah,
so I can pay for tickets.
You need and want clothes, oxygen, water, food. Those are things that are needs that you must have. Wants are things that you desire. And we know your heart has a lot of wants and desires. Okay. But there's a big difference between a need and a want. You want to go to the Celtics Knicks game or the hockey game with Carolina, whatever. You need to have water. You need to have oxygen. You need to have air conditioning when it's 95 plus. Those are things you need. Don't shake your head. Yes, you do. You can't survive without those things. Those are things that are not optional. The game, those are optional. They're not necessities. They're not,
I'm going to say one more time. I need to go see a National Hockey League game.
No, you don't.
And a playoff game would be the best.
You don't need to. You want
and I don't need to buy water at those games because I'm not paying $7 for a bottle of water. That's crazy.
Okay, well, then you go 48 to 72 to 96 hours without having any liquid in your body that's like water, and tell me how that works out for you. I'm just,
Okay.
We'll do that. Let's try today. How about you go till Tuesday without water and tell me how that worked out for you?
Okay. Now, if I do, what do I get?
We'll get you a bottle of water.
No, you always want something out of these deals, so now I need something out of the deal.
No, I'm trying to explain to you. You're having a hard time comprehending this, which I don't understand why. And I don't know why my touchpad over here is giving me like a Google, one of those things that's talking. You think you got things figured out, and then your 8-year-old niece comes in here and plays all kinds of little these app games with solitaire. Anyways, let's get back to what I'm talking about, because you're distracting me, as is my touchpad over here. I'm trying to explain to you that there's a difference between needs and wants, and those lines are blurred for you for some reason I can't figure out. So yeah. You want to go to this show. You want to go to this concert. You want to go see this sporting event. You don't have to. It's not a must. Okay? I want the Diamondbacks to not blow a 3-run lead in the 9th inning against Shohei Ohtani and the evil guys from the West Coast. That's what I wanted. I wish it was a need. We need to get a win today, though. That's for sure, to win that series. So yeah, that's where we are with that.
Hey, just a reminder: Yankees took 3.
Oh, I saw, and I'm very upset at your guy Aaron Judge. That's for another reason.
I really thought.
Yeah, first hit off the wall. It needed to be a home run to make me a much happier camper today. That he decided to have it go off the wall, not go over the fence. And then his next bats, he strikes out. He gets intentionally walked. He can't get one over the fence. Jose Ramirez of Cleveland does his job, but Aaron Judge did not do his job yesterday. But go on.
You got to remember now, people are not giving Aaron Judge good things to hit because he's going to
stop it. It was right over the middle of the plate.
And I stupidly, if that's a word, picked the Padres to sweep the Yankees in New York.
Why would that be stupidly? They almost did, didn't they? Came close. They had a rally in there too.
Was it? Well, I think it was 3. No, it was
the game at Rain where Schilt got ejected, and then after he got ejected, they just absolutely tore up your overrated, not so great bullpen.
Yeah, the bullpen needs a lot of help.
Saving. Yeah.
I think no, that was they played 4 games. Yankees won. I think it was 3-1 or something or 3 games. And the Yankees was 2-1. I think it was 2-1 on the series. But I picked Padres to win all 3 and put a little few shekels down. And my losing streak is now up to 13 straight losses. Ooh. 13 straight. So
wow.
Yeah, the Kentucky Derby did not help me either. First time in a long time. The Derby was not one of my big winners. So I'm going to have to back off for a while and go back to the book.
Go back to the book? What's the book?
How to bet properly and not lose your money.
Oh, well, that's a mystery for a lot of people. Let us know what game you are most looking forward to this weekend in sports on CoVA Sports TV. Interact with us and let us know. It can be anything in pro hockey, pro basketball. It could be baseball. It could be something high school related, or it could be something like the Norfolk Admirals, who have that key game coming up, number 5 on Sunday at Scope. We have a busy show for you. You'll hear some sound from college days this week. I was out at all the different college stops, the college coaches, I should say, for high school football. It's not that far off in the distance, Ed. You say it's May now, but all the college coaches in the beach had a combine on Thursday over at Kempsville. Wednesday, stopped in at Kings Fork and Oscar Smith. Tuesday, stopped in at Green Run and Maury. Salem and Indian River on Monday. All kinds of different athletes to check out. And got some conversations and interviews that we will sprinkle in the program throughout the next several weeks, as we will be getting closer and closer to the kickoff time of high school football in August. It's moved up every year, pretty much, it feels like. And it'll be a busy summer for us here on CoVA Sports TV. We'll also be up in I know I will be up in Springfield and Richmond for the VA Live basketball events coming up that have all kinds of college coaches involved with those. Get some hoops fix in. And if you missed any of the show, you're always allowed to go back and watch parts of the program you might have missed or would like to watch again. In fact, last week's conversation with Keandre Lambert-Smith of the LA Chargers, he's out there in LA now out of Maury High School. People will be delighted to know this. Got a lot of great feedback over the week. It is the most watched interview or clip on CoVA Sports TV in this calendar year. How about that? It's the most watched clip since Brian Driscoll came on to talk Notre Dame with us last year. So how about that? All the different guests that have been on our channel It's the most watched, well into 4, almost 5 digits when you incorporate. Actually, it's over 5 digits when you incorporate in terms of views. Those that have checked it out on VirginiaPreps.com as well. So great to catch up with him last week. He was very generous with his time, as a number of our locals from the 757 are gearing up for the National Football League with all the camps coming up too. So busy time of year and a lot happening, Edward.
It is, and football always tries to get that center stage. We had some NFL talk again this week. Kind of out of nowhere trade with Steelers sending the one and only George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it as giving him to the Cowboys for basically nothing, a 3rd round and 5th round pick. It wake me up when it's a 1st or 2nd round pick or a player of consequence. That was basically giving Pickens to the Cowboys because I perceived he would be a problem with Metcalf on board, because Metcalf's going to be the biggest target receiver for the Steelers. And Pickens is going to complain and whatever. When Pickens plays, shuts his mouth and plays, he's good. But he's one of those disgruntled in the ways of, I don't know, back in the day, your Antonio Browns, your Terrell Owens at times. So that was some news too. And when you say most watched game, or what are you looking forward to? I got to believe me. I got to see what the heck my Celtics are going to do.
Well, Celtics. Don't be wearing Knicks gear the next show if they win in 5 and you've got the Celtics in your background. You drive me nuts with this. I'm a Raiders and a Steelers fan. That's like saying I'm rooting for the Yankees and the Red Sox, or the Commanders and the Cowboys. You can't do that. As Bill Walcott chimed in, our buddy Bill, Mr. Cleveland guy. Good night for you in Cleveland, as the Guardians spanked the Phils. Jose Ramirez did go deep, as I mentioned. Kyle Manzardo continues to play well. Gavin Williams had a good outing. And in the Cavs last night, you see it across our ticker, DeAndre Hunter comes back. He comes off the bench. They get Evan Mobley to go with Jared Allen inside. Also got back Darius Garland, who's essential to their backcourt. And next thing you know, bingo, bango, bongo. Cavs now the series favorite after losing the first 2, including one in perplexing fashion in game 2 at home without those guys, to the Indiana Pacers, who suffered their first home playoff loss this year. They previously were 4 and check that. They were 3-0 at home in this postseason. Our man Woody Wagner saying hello as well. We will play buy or sell later on in the show, but the NBA has been crazy with all these big leads that have been squandered in the final minutes of games, including 2 by the Celtics. You set up 20+. I guess Joe Mazzulla had to channel his inner JJ Redick and show that he's not as smart as he thinks he is, or he still thinks he's a smart coach. We're going to keep jacking, shooting threes. 25 of 100 in 2 games at home. 20-point leads in the 3rd quarter of both games out the window. And if you went to the window, well, you should go to Bet365. Not that they give me any shekels, they should. But in those, if you do a pregame pick, you get your money. Other ones, you don't. So they would have been the one to go with if you were going to take the Celtics pregame. But I have a funny hunch today they will win on the road, because in round 2 so far, Edward, the road teams have won a good amount of the games. Now, the Nuggets win last night. Aaron Gordon hits a big shot. They go to overtime. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Nikola Jokic, who did not have a great game, Jokic, but they still win in spite of it. They won at home. So the home teams are 2-1 in that series. But Pacers, Cavs, road team has won all 3. Celtics, Knicks, 2 road wins. And in the other series, which is Minnesota, Golden State, 1-1 with game 3 tonight coming up in Golden State. So you do the math there, and that is 6 road wins out of a possible, correct me if I'm wrong here, 10 games. That's 6-4 for the road teams.
Surprisingly, with the road teams winning, the playoff NBA playoffs are just a little wacky, led by the Knicks. Everybody, it seems, had the Celtics in 5. I had the Celtics in 6. Some people thought the Celtics would sweep them. And what has happened, they blew them out. I mean, they blew a 20-point lead, and then the Knicks win a close one first game. And then everybody saw, even myself, I said, no problem. We're going to win the second game guaranteed, especially after the first one.
Who's this we?
all the Celtic fans. There's like millions of us, millions. I'm on a Celtic thing on Facebook. It's millions of Celtic fans all the way to Ireland. It's unbelievable. And
did you wear green on St. Patrick's Day? I hope you did.
No, I don't think I did.
No.
I don't think I did. I think
someone should have pinched you. Someone should have pinched you. Yeah, you're going to get pinched either way, but go ahead. Continue on.
And then, of course, second game, here we go. Who would have thunk it? The exact same thing happened. 20-point lead blown. Total discombobulation in the fourth quarter. They looked like they didn't know each other, didn't know what they were doing, what they were running. It was unbelievable. And of course, people that like to get on me because I'm a Celtic fan really were on me and, well, okay, Mr. Celtic, what's your excuse now? There is no excuse. After that second game, there was no excuse. Somebody said, well, what would you have done? I probably got fired because I would have been cussing some millionaires out in the locker room because there's no way. That's exactly what happened again should have happened. Okay, we lose, but not the same way, 20-point blown lead, and then fourth quarter total disaster that you did in the first game. I do think man for man, the Celtics are better than the Knicks. But the Knicks are playing with more heart, more aggression, more sense of purpose in reality than the Celtics. Come on now, it's 25.
Are they? Because hold on. Let me fight you off for a second. Because the Celtics have pretty much dominated. Of the 96 minutes, they've dominated about 83, 85 of those minutes. They've just had two brain-dead fourth quarters. And even just segments of those fourth quarters. So I don't know that it's been the Knicks have been so great. The Knicks have been down 20 in both games. So it's not like the Knicks are – that's why the odds makers have it still almost even money in Boston's favor today for the series. But there are some issues with that team. Kristaps Porzingis, he's made of porcelain, and he's not reliable. Jason Tatum, people say the hand, but he's trying to force the issue, not playing within the concept. And people say Jalen Brunson's the best guy on that team. Really? If he's the best guy on that team, he doesn't go scoreless in game number 2 in the fourth quarter. He's not the best guy on the team. Tatum is, but Tatum is not really seizing the moment right now. And then, furthermore, I hear all this about Drew Holiday being this lockdown defender. He locked down Jalen Brunson on that last possession where Brunson got fouled. Brunson's been the most clutch player in these playoffs by far and away. And the Knicks, and I'll tell you what Missoula's also done. It's the same thing that other coaches have done and gotten in trouble this playoff. Both games, he's gotten preoccupied with the let's foul Mitchell Robinson thing in the third and fourth quarter, and it takes them out of their flow and their momentum and their tempo. And when you have a lead like they've had, you shouldn't have to go to that tactic, especially when it sort of backfired on you in game 1 and then it did it again in game 2. I don't think he needs to. We know Mitchell Robinson can't shoot free throws, but don't get to the point where it stops you from getting out and running. Especially if you're the mindset of we're going to keep jacking threes, whether we're up 20 or down 20, which is their mindset all the time because they think they're the smartest guys in the room with the analytics, and that's what's bitten the Celtics in the butt here. They think they're the smartest guys in the room. They got a little bit of that Yankee arrogance, Ed. They've won so much, all these championships. We can just do what we want to. That's what it is. Celtics have that Yankee arrogance about them. It's really the nuts and bolts of it if you want to get down to it.
Well, the hack-a-shack with Robinson. My theory on hack-a-shack stuff is if that guy is really hurting you inside, I mean, he's scoring and we can't stop him, then you foul because he can't shoot free throws. Just a foul to foul is kind of stupid. Mm-hmm. And jacking the threes, okay, you're being left open for a reason because you're not hitting them. How
about the one with Tatum triple clutched in the corner? The lead's shrunk down to like 6, and he triple clutches. He's got a wide open path from the baseline for a layup, and he just takes an open corner 3, and he can't hit that. Whole team is shattered late in these games.
Right. It's perplexing that they look like a middle school team that doesn't just learning how to play in that fourth quarter. It should not be that way. And you watch them play and they stand and watch Tatum do stuff instead of, and Tatum is a very, very good player. He's not a takeover dominant Michael Jordan is LeBron James type player. He needs the help of his teammates. And when you watch the fourth quarter in 2 games, they're standing around. So they don't get a second or third option off because they're all looking at the first option. And the Knicks are doing a great job of, we know what you're going to try to do. So there's 2 or 3 guys around Tatum. And he still tries to shoot it. So that's got to stop. Now, my attitude is I think they can win today, yes. But I thought they were going to win game 2, guaranteed. I'm not going to put any shekels down on today, but I think they will win. And if they don't and they go 3-0, please lose the 4th game. Get swept, get the heck off the floor, and let's move on. And yes, I will go for the Knicks to win it all if they take care of the Celtics. Because remember now, you know, I'm a little bit of a New York Knicks fan. Well, I got some big years.
Stop it. You cannot root for both Boston and New York. What is wrong with you? And by the way, usually your Bills will bury them and throw dirt, and then guess what will happen? They'll win 3 straight, just like they did 2 years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals against Miami, and force it back to a Game 7 in Boston, and you will be back on the Celtic bandwagon wearing your Celtic hat, saying, my Celtics, my Celtics. And guess what will happen? They'll gag like dogs in Game 7 at home like they did that day when Miami, behind Caleb Martin, well, man, sure you can tell us what team he plays on now. Don't Google it. Don't Google it. Went nuts, and they beat the Celtics in their building. The Celtics have a lot of home playoff losses lately. They have a lot of them. By the way, what team is Caleb Martin playing for? Go. Don't look it up. Tell us. Former NC State.
Martin is with
former Nevada. With the
he was with Charlotte for a bit.
He was, but who's he with now?
Let's put him on the Thunder. Is he with the Thunder?
No, he's not with the Thunder. He's not playing in these playoffs. He's with the Dallas Mavericks.
He
came close, playing, gotten bounced. Yeah.
But no, I'm going to remain a Celtic fan. I'm a Yankee, Celtic, Raider fan, no matter what. No matter what. Those are
just when the Raiders lose to the Steelers, then you put on the Steelers gear. And when the Celtics lose to the Knicks, you put on the Knicks gear.
Oh, don't forget now. We call you a goofy fan. We call you I was going to call you a clown, but then that might be too harsh thinking I'm calling you a clown. I'm clowning you. But that's pretty much what you can be in the. Yeah, it's amazing how I like the Raiders and Steelers almost the same in football, but I don't have that feeling with anybody in basketball or baseball towards the Yankees Celtics. I don't know why. Maybe. And somebody said, well, you grew up in Pennsylvania, Steeler country. Yeah, but I don't have that affinity for the Pirates. So wouldn't it be the same way? So, but I do have it for the Steelers, but I don't have it for the Pirates. And I do like the Phillies in baseball. I like the Phillies a whole lot, but they're not on the level with the Yankees. So I don't know why I feel it that way. But let's just see what happens. But I'm serious. If they lose today and they're down 3-0, lose game 4, get out of the way, let the Knicks rest, and then I will root for the Knicks to win it because my Celtics are out.
When Bill's Cleveland Cavaliers rise up from the dead here from down 2-11, they beat either one of those two teams after they beat the Pacers, if they do beat the Pacers, which is a big if.
That's a big if.
Then what are you going to say? You're going to root for the Cavaliers?
Right. If the Knicks get, let's see. I have the Nuggets winning over the Thunder in 7.
Do you really?
I have.
I don't think that'll happen. I will buy you a large order being 12 pack of nuggets from your fast food choice.
No. Don't forget, I lost the other bet. I still owe you steak dinner. I forget what the bet was.
I'd like to have that sometime in the next 12 years would be nice.
Okay.
But if the Nuggets do beat the Thunder in 7, I will let you have order chicken nuggets from any restaurant chain fast food place of your selecting in the Hampton Roads area. But I don't think it'll happen. Everybody's already burying the Thunder, their clutch time. And then listen, this goes to a lack of respect for the Nuggets. They're not giving Joker, Jamal Murray, who I say is the best guy ever to make an all-star team, Aaron Gordon and that crew enough credit. They have won a championship before. Thunder, they let one slip away. And they lost a hard-fought game in overtime. But I think if they win game 4, which is a quick turnaround, early East Coast time, 3:30, coming up on Sunday to get it back to 2-all, it's still it's a best of 3 like Bill brought up with the Cavs Pacers. You got home court, nothing to sweat or worry about. I think as it goes longer, it could wear a little more on the legs of some of the guys, even the energetic, fast, always on the move, go, one of your favorites, Russell Westbrook. So, I'm not ready to bury the Thunder just yet. I'm not going to hit the panic button down 2-1. They get it to 2-2. That's right where the series should be.
Yeah, I think most people have Thunder winning. They get the best record in the NBA. But I like the Nuggets experience.
Well, Derek says double or nothing for the Nuggets. So wait a minute. You mean take the steak? I get 2 steaks out of it? Yeah, that's a good deal. How about that, Ed? How about 2 steaks for me? Or you just get nuggets?
No. Derek, I think what Derek means is he's going for the Nuggets too. So double or nothing.
No, I don't think he is. He'll chime in if he is. I don't think that's the case.
And I've got T-Wolves beating Warriors in 7. I think that's a good chance.
Steph Curry's injury, Anthony Edwards got hurt the other night in that game, but his status is a question mark, and that would concern me for Golden State because they're having trouble scoring. Now, Jimmy Butler is explosive enough to go off, but I will say this, Draymond Green, he's a loose cannon. I mean, you don't know what he's going to do. And Minnesota, I think, will take that. Might be 6 because, Golden State's not always consistent at home. I think the Wolves probably win tonight. It might go to 2-2, and then the Wolves take game 5 to get it to 3-2. But Curry's availability could be a real factor in that equation when he can come back. It might not be till about game 5 at the earliest. He doesn't want Nuggets too. Oh, Derek, no way. You guys, I'm telling you, you're prisoners of the moment. And listen, I have a lot of respect for the Nuggets. They made that coaching change I didn't agree with. They showed the heart, and they absolutely – by the way, how bad were the Clippers? How bad were the Clippers? I think before we go to break here, one guy absolutely nailed the Clippers and James Harden about a year or so ago from Valley Sports. And here it is.
Ask the producer to pipe this into the Clippers locker room. If I can talk to you, James, I hope you're taking notes. I'm telling you in advance, you're welcome for the wisdom I'm about to spew. Because, listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe in me like Daryl Morey believed in you. You wanted a certain coach, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. You want to play a certain style, they played it. You wanted Dwight Howard, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. You wanted Chris Paul, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. They brought in your old friend Russell Westbrook. You want to go to Vegas on off days? They looked away. You wanted the team to stay over so you could go out at night. They changed the schedule, and it didn't work. And you know what? You said, I'm going to break up with my whoopee. Not good enough. I see the bright lights in New York. I want to go there. My old pal, Kevin Durant. It's going to work. The big 3. And all after 1 year, you wanted out. You realized, oh my gosh, I took this guy for granted, the guy that believed in me. I went back with Daryl Morey. They traded Ben Simmons for you. How did they pull that off? And you know what? You went there, and you got a partner who got the MVP. He won the MVP. And what did you say afterwards? You said, they didn't hand me the reins. You're the point guard. You were holding the reins. And what did you do when you had the reins? You scored 9 points in Game 7 against Boston. You blew a 3-2 series lead. So they fired their coach. Not good enough. You broke up with the guy believing you again. You said, the bright lights of L.A., that's where I want to go. Let's see if that works. Listen, James, have you ever had those friends who had bad roommates? Over and over, they complained about their bad roommates. This guy's terrible. The bad roommate here. They never thought to be self-aware enough that they're the bad roommate. They're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
That was Brian Damaris in November of 2023, I think, and Devin Harris laughing next to him. And he nailed James Harden, and James Harden never performed in a Game 7. He is always. What's that? No, he didn't get fired. He got suspended. I think he got suspended or fined. He didn't get fired.
It was the greatest, calmest rant.
All-time rants. Ripped him from Valley Sports Southwest.
Speaking of rants, I was going to go off today on Draymond Green. You said it. Loose cannon. He needs to shut up. The game Curry went out, he hits 3 threes in a row. I said, okay, Draymond's all right. Draymond going to show he can score. And then he gets tossed in a game or whatever. And now he wants to say, I'm not an angry black man. Okay, where does race come into this? I'm tired of hearing that. So Draymond Green, you're a dirty player. We all know that. You're tough out there in terms of rebounding, defender. And he talked about his locker room rant where he said, I am good. I'm one of the best. I can score. Okay, you don't blow it up. You're not all of that. You're good in a certain way. And when you step out of that way, you're not. So shut up and play. Number 2 rant, Rafael Devers, Boston Red Sox.
Oh, you're going to hit on Devers. Go ahead. Let me hear this. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can hit. There's no question you can hit. Now, this year you're having trouble. Your fat ass has trouble fielding at third base. So they brought in Bregman, asked you to be a DH because you can really hit, and you complained, but you finally did it. Now the first baseman goes down with injury. They say to you, look, we want to keep you in the lineup. How about we move you over to first base? Not worried about mistakes, errors, whatever, because we got to have your bat in there. We need you in the lineup. No, I'm not playing no first base. Get somebody else off the market. I'm not. Okay, Boston, if I'm you, get rid of them. Of course, it would help the Yankees a little bit because they got rid of Devers, who's their best hitter. But you're being paid millions. You're being asked to play, not benched, and you complain every time. Or this, how about this, Boston? You don't want to play at first base and you really needed somebody there. I think they just signed Anthony Rizzo. Then sit him down. Of course, I know you're not going to sit somebody down that's making $38 million a year. But on the other hand, these guys got to understand you don't run things. You're a player. You have some say, but you don't run things. And they needed you at first base. And you got all these other guys making way less that would pitch if they had to, just to play, and you don't want to. So Devers, shut up and play.
All right, there you have it. The feisty Ed Young. We are overdue for a break. Got to pay some bills here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Interact with us, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as always. And you can hit us up via the comment box, the chat line anytime. Coming up later in the show, we'll be joined by Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated to talk about Bill Belichick and if his girlfriend has been banned or not, plus recruiting that involves the 757 area code and players that are there, could be going there, the whole big picture, if you will, of things. And we've got buy or sell coming up, and we may be joined by a college head football coach from the 757. We're waiting to hear back to get verification, but we're efforting that still at the top of the hour. But let's hear from the sponsors, those that help present 757 Saturday Sports Talk to all of you each and every week. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
James Catato tells us tonight there's a new team making new noise in the USL2 scene on the other side of the water.
Something special is brewing inside the walls of the Virginia Beach Sportsplex.
We're not here for moral victories. When we're on our day, we're a legit team.
See the stars of the future in pre-professional action at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. This combined season ticket special is for men's and women's. That's 15 games for just $100 for adults and $80 for youth. VBU has a brand new women's team that competes in the W League. Soccer fans, it's time to rally behind Virginia Beach United. Tickets are on sale now. Visit vbunited.com. Don't miss out on Virginia Beach United.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Hi, this is Wayne Williams of Williams Deloach. I'm an experienced personal injury attorney, and I hope you don't need my services because I certainly don't like to see people injured on a daily basis. But in preparation for that unfortunate situation, your insurance coverage is very vital to your case. Give me a call today. I'd be happy to discuss your insurance situation for you and your family. That's the most protection you have, and you want to have that ahead of time.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. You need John Maynard. PFP, LUTCF, EA, all those initials behind his name mean he's qualified to work on your taxes. He's an ATA, accredited tax advisor. He's an ATP, accredited tax preparer. He's a fellow at NTPI, the National Tax Practice Institute. And if all that weren't enough, he's also been voted the best of Norfolk and the best of Virginia Beach awards. John Maynard has been professionally trained in tax preparation and representation. He brings to the table over 30 years' experience in federal and state returns. He delivers personalized, one-on-one service, and he's a certified electronic filer. The IRS likes electronic filers. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service, 455-6763.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Okay, folks, this is the Norfolk Tides Sweet Press Box. Take a look at this. Good stuff right here. You got the TV, you got the table, you got, hold on, wait. You even got Coach Ed Young in the house. What are you doing here?
Watching some good baseball, minor league baseball with my future Yankees and some future Orioles coming on up.
Unbelievable. They let anybody in Harbor Park's press box. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. I'm just lost for words.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, CoVA Sports TV. Wherever you are, tune in. You can comment, interact with us all morning long. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or X as they call it, IG, and so many more platforms, virginiapreps.com too. Apple, Spotify, I think, as well, although I'm not sure if the powers that be have refreshed that in the last 12 days, weeks, months. I have no idea. But anyhow, you can find us all over the place. Just hit the Google box, the search box on YouTube, 757 Sports Talk, Hatfield and Young, and you'll find us. Eureka. It's right there. Before we play some buy or sell on this particular Mother's Day weekend episode, we have some high school football sound as I tease going all around the area to catch up with some of the top standouts in the 757, most of which are seniors in these particular interviews. But we did catch up with a soon-to-be rising junior, Ed, who is a quarterback from a team that captured a state championship last December.
Yeah, you had the opportunity to speak to a youngster we've been talking about since his freshman year. And that is quarterback Lonnie Andrews III from Oscar Smith. Let's see what the youngster going into his junior year had to say as you spoke to him at their combine here on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, here with Oscar Smith, class of 2027 quarterback Lonnie Andrews III, over 3,100 yards of offense last year, passing and rushing with 29 TDs as he led the Tigers to a state championship. Lonnie, how much do you think back to that glorious December Saturday, leading your team down the field to win the championship at JMU against James Madison High School?
I think about it every day. Every day I step in the building, every day I step in that locker room to get better with my brothers. That day was a very great day for me because December 14th, we won the state championship, and then at 12 a.m. that night, it was my 16th birthday. So that was probably one of my best days of my life.
And a great birthday present for you, too. And I know today's been a good day for you. College coaches are watching you ball out. You got a new offer from Old Dominion, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the Monarchs, how pumped you are. They're a nearby school, and I'm sure many more will be coming your way.
I'm very excited for the offer. I'm thankful for the coaching staff for extending the offer out to me. ODU has been one of those schools growing up that I've always known of, heard about, and all that. So it's just a blessing.
Your dad played at Oscar Smith. You win a state championship. What were the emotions like when you led your team down the field to do what you did that day? And what was a crazy game? They were coming back to try to tie it. They get a last-second touchdown, but you guys were able to stop them on a 2-point conversion.
That on the 91-yard drive, I recall, I think it was, coming onto that field, I was still a little down because that same drive right before that, I feel like we got stopped when we shouldn't have. We should have drove down and scored that drive. But I feel like being able to execute that brought a lot of momentum back to the team, which led to the ending of that game, which got us a ring and a state championship.
Yeah, you were all smiles like you are now. When college coaches evaluate you out here, they put on your film, fans even check you out. What do you hope they take away from watching Lonnie Andrews III as a quarterback and a football player?
He's a great quarterback. He's going to come hard. He's going to come and work. He's going to do what he got to do, and he's a leader.
As a passer, what have been kind of your best traits to this point? What are you looking on in development-wise? What are you working on?
My best traits is probably my deep ball. I got good velocity and all that, and then I'm just working on just making sure my mechanics stay sharp for every kind of throw that I need to make, and just getting a connection with my receivers. I feel like there's no throw on the field that I cannot make, so it's just being able to know my receiver speed, where they're going to sit at, and all that stuff, which is just going to do nothing but help us get better as a team.
Certainly you have one of the top recruits in the country on your team in Travis Johnson. I know you and Travis are very tight. You go on some visits with him. Tell me some places you've checked out that it's really appealed to you and that some schools that are showing some appeal and you appeal to them, I guess.
Last summer, I think after my freshman season, we went to Penn State. I liked it up there at Penn State.
Okay.
We've been to West Virginia together. We went to Maryland together not too long ago.
Okay.
Then we was at Florida Gators over spring break together. I really like it up there. It's a beautiful place and all that. So, it's just many more to come. Just stand down, bless.
Yeah, I know. I saw a lot of the footage, videos, pictures from that. Like y'all had a good time there for spring break. And growing up, did you have a couple childhood favorites or dream offers, perhaps?
My favorite college is Alabama.
What is it
I grew
about
up
Bama?
I don't know. I just like the winning culture. I like to win. I'm a sore loser. I don't like to lose. And, just their winning culture attracted me more to that team. Sure. So that's pretty much all that it is.
Sure. Two more let's run. How about when you watch football nowadays? Who are the quarterbacks? They've had some good ones at Bama. Are there some quarterbacks you look up to from Bama or elsewhere?
I like Jalen Monroe. Jalen Monroe, he was probably my favorite quarterback this upcoming season. People didn't like him that much, but, I'm rooting for my Bama guys. In the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and all them. So, and I still to this day go back and watch Anthony Richardson at Florida because he had some electrifying highlights.
There you go, and I'm sure he's fun to play with on the batting game. Lastly, Lonnie, for Let You Run, it's going to be fun watching these next 2 years before you go off to college. Going back to back is something I know is the goal for you guys, and you got a good group of linemen in front of you to protect you and help block the way on this path. So give me your mindset going into this year and what you want to accomplish. I know the ring's a part of that.
My mindset is just make it there again and win it all. I feel like we got the talent. We returning all the same guys. We returning the whole line, all the receivers except for Trey Jones, but we got people who can fill in for that. We returning Tajay Curtis at running back. Since we lost Brandon Nesbitt, but we returning everybody, and then whoever we lost, we got some young guys maturing, getting better, and just ready to fill in those spots.
He's got Savage across the chest. He's a winner for the Oscar Smith Tigers. Lonnie Andrews III, thank you so much. All the best.
All right, so that was Lonnie Andrews III, who last season, perfect record for the Tigers, 15-0. He was 172 of 289 through the air for 2,740 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 INTs to go with 450 rushing and 3 TDs. We believe those are the numbers. I've seen a couple different numbers, but that's what we've got for him. And got a lot of options there, but hey, loves him some Bama and Jalen Milroe. He picked up a couple of offers of the day with Old Domain and James Madison. He's got a bunch of schools already in the picture, Ed, as his sheet is got Boston College, Charlotte, Syracuse, Virginia Tech on there too. So it's bound to be a laundry list of schools, much like his teammate Travis Johnson, who's got a top 7 right now that he has narrowed it down to with Penn State, North Carolina, Michigan, Georgia, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, and Indiana. He took a visit recently to Indiana. Rumored favorite right now, if you believe the rumors, is Penn State, although Michigan's very much in the picture and he can pick anywhere he wants to go. Lonnie and him will be maybe the most intriguing passing combination this year in the 7-5-7, dare we say? Any argument or pushback there?
No, I think Travis Johnson has probably the number one receiver in the area. So whoever his quarterback is as long as you get him the ball, he can take care of business after that. But he has a good quarterback, a really good quarterback. And Lonnie Andrews is third throwing to him, getting him the ball. So combination, yeah, there could be other ones almost as good, but yeah, my money would be on those two right there. Let me ask you, the Andrews fellow, he doesn't look real big. Is he 6'1", 6'2"? How big is he? Smaller?
He is listed at, I believe, 6'1", 180. We'll double check that. But he might be bigger than that now. He's a little taller, actually, to tell you the truth. He is listed at 6'1", 190. 6'1", 190 is what he's listed at, technically.
I mean, that's not bad for a quarterback. As long as you can throw, evade the rush, look over the line, get rid of the ball quick. Typical stuff quarterbacks need to do. He can run a little bit. So, usually those power conferences are going to look for a 6'3".
Oscar Smith. We talked about that, Woody. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Yeah, Woody is.
That's right. He's probably busy. He's on the move, I'm sure, on this particular Saturday. We appreciate him tuning in. But yeah, Lonnie's a really good one. Really good one. And you think of the quarterbacks. I think the two schools. Now I'm going to make people upset about this. You ready for this? Here we go. That you kind of call quarterback U in the 7-5-7. At least year after year after year, you think of quarterbacks. Are Oscar Smith and Hampton, to me at least. Now, Doree McCain's developing that reputation at Maury as well, with all the quarterbacks he's had lately, including Torrey Newkirk, who's down in Chapel Hill now with UNC. But you think of the Oscar Smith lineage of quarterbacks. His dad, by the way, played running back. His late father who passed, Lonnie Andrews III, but Philip Sims, the Sean Mitchells. Now you got Lonnie Andrews III. They've just had a list of great quarterbacks. J.J. Williamson set records there too. Guys that played at the next level. Hampton High, the list, I mean, come on. You talk about Ronald Curry and Tyrod Taylor and Marcus Higgins. They got to go in now and Marcus Chapman. You think of those quarterbacks. Those are two schools that leap to mind. Would you Would you have any pushback there and give another school that you'd throw up there?
No question. They're right there. You're going to have some schools.
All good, Woody. We're just having fun with you. All good. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're going to have it. Woody, no worry. Ain't no mistake. You're okay with that. You're one of our most loyal listeners. It's okay.
Listen, that's still 27 fewer mistakes than Ed's made. Trust me. Go ahead.
I forget a lot of stuff too. Some things I forget on purpose, but I act like I didn't really want to remember it. So Woody, you're all right with us. But yeah, there's some schools that will have a quarterback that in a given year might look better than what Smith has had, but in terms of lineage, what Smith has done, I think you're right on it. And again, the names you mentioned with Hampton, again, I would say you're right on it. And again, those schools out there, coaches, if you say, wait a minute, we've done, okay, come on, show us what you got. And, we'll have no problem throwing some rice towards you also and saying.
Some rice? We're going to throw rice?
Yeah, you throw rice for good luck and success and whatever. I mean, that's what I'm being told. I don't know. Somebody said they do that in marriages. They throw rice, whatever. So that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
We have some breaking news, Ed, literally at this particular moment on the show. And that is right there on our screen. Your former Raiders quarterback, now of the New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr, has announced his retirement. It's according to Adam Schefter as of 5 minutes ago. So Derek Carr is no longer going to play football for the Saints or anywhere at this particular time. It looks like, some guys have made that retirement decision and come out of retirement, but with him given his health status and current situation, not sure it's going to happen. He is 34 years of age, wasn't going to play this season, and now it looks like he's not going to play again in the National Football League. Any quick reaction to that news that just came across the wire literally minutes ago after 11 years ago?
Known he was not going to play this year. I guess a major shoulder injury. At 34, you'd wonder if he had enough to come back, the drive and all that to come back at 35. Obviously, this answers it. He's just going to step away now. And, Derek Carr was not a great one. I think he was very serviceable. He was a good one. A little bit chastised for not doing more with the Raiders and possibly the Saints. But, again, I don't think he's one of them bum quarterbacks. I think he was decent. Now, my quick reaction to that would also be,
who their quarterback's going to be? It's Tyler Shuck, the kid they drafted out of Louisville.
Yeah, that's
second round, I believe. Yeah.
Now, my question here would be: did the Saints have an idea that he may retire? But the key thing is the Saints knew he wasn't playing this year. So
I don't know if that idea was going to retire. And this is a guy that's thrown for in excess of 3,000 yards in every year of his career until this past year when he was cut short due to injury with 10 games, 2,145 yards. He threw for 20-plus touchdowns every year except 2018 and this past season. So he was a model of consistency, even if he was not always excellent in the big games. And he only had a couple of playoff appearances, not many. But, you look for productivity and longevity. He gave them that and the franchises, particularly the Raiders, more than the Saints. But it's a little bit of closure now for the Saints moving forward. And Shuck's got to be the guy because behind him, Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener aren't exactly guys that you would have a ton of faith in. So,
yeah, it's going to really, of all the rookie quarterbacks other than Cam Ward, eyes will be on him like crazy because it looks like
there's going to have eyes on Shedeur Sanders of Browns minicamp, even though he was the second quarterback taken by that team in their draft. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, but I'm saying in terms of the ball is yours first game, it's going to be Ward and Shuck now. Yes. Sanders could be that guy in Cleveland now. It's Watson doesn't look like he's playing.
And Jackson Dart is battling to get on the field at some point for the Giants, who have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, but you don't expect him to be given the keys to the car until late in the season once it goes off the side of the road. So
right, and they're going to go with Wilson and Winston on shots before they go to Dart. So
correct.
So he's going to have to wait, but he is the quarterback in waiting in New York, but now Shuck for New Orleans, that's what they thought when they picked him. They kind of figured he would be their starting quarterback eventually, at least this year, anyways, because of the injury. Now he's their starting quarterback. Period. So
let's play some buy or sell. We got that bit of news that just came across that sidetracked us for a brief moment. Let's play a little buy or sell here on this particular episode of CoVA Sports.
You're breaking up.
We'll try that again. Am I still breaking up?
No, there you sound good.
Okay. I said, are you ready to play some buy or sell? Even though you look just like me?
I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to sell everything because my pocket's got lint in them. I got nothing.
Here we go. Buy or sell on this episode of 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Mother's Day weekend. Our first one has to do with our buddy Bill's Cavaliers. First team in NBA playoff history to win 3 straight playoff games on the road by at least 20-plus points. Game number 4, comes on Sunday night on TNT. Well, the Cavaliers with some UVA Cavaliers like Ty Jerome, who's got to get out of that funk. What is he, like 4 of 32 the last 2 games? And DeAndre Hunter, will they make it 4 straight road wins by 20-plus? Are the Pacers officially rattled, or do the Pacers respond? Are you buying this or selling this? I got to sell this.
Yeah, I'm selling it. No question selling it. I don't even know. I don't even think they'll win. And if they win, it will not be by 20. Sorry, Woody. I'm just saying it's not. They're not going to win by 20.
Woody, you don't apologize to him. Bill's the Cavaliers fan. I don't think Woody's
Bill, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're not paying attention, just like Woody was earlier. But go ahead. We're good.
No, I think Woody likes the Nuggets too. I mean, Nugget. Oh, my
Nuggets. God. Where are you right now?
All right. Woody likes Nuggets, eat. And I think the Cavaliers are one of his better teams. So Woody, if you're listening, get me straight.
Where are we going with this? You're selling this, right?
Yeah, selling it. Let's go to the next one. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's keep this moving.
Arizona Diamondbacks hit grand slams in consecutive games for the first time in franchise history the past 2 nights versus the Dodgers. Will they make it 3 in a row on Saturday? How about that? Grand slams.
No. They won't even hit a home run against the Dodgers in the next today, let alone a grand slam.
Really? You're gonna
not hit a home run against the Dodgers.
No home run today.
Bet it. Go on FanDuel, Kings of Sport, or wherever you bet.
No, they're facing Dusty May. He's a little dusty and rusty. Give me home runs he's given up this year.
Yeah, he's a home run giver. He is
3. Yeah. You might want to retract that statement.
No, I'm gonna stick with it. I got to stick with it. They're definitely not getting a grand slam.
I hope they hit a walk-off grand slam, and I can just shove it in your face. We will hit a home run. We, the D-backs, as I rock my Arizona Diamondbacks paraphernalia, as they say. But will not be a grand slam, so I'm going to sell this as well. But we'll stay back with baseball, and we won't go back to my team or Ed's team. We'll go to a different team. How about this one? The Detroit Tigers have the best run differential in MLB presently. Will they end the month of May with the best run differential? Now, you're wondering, okay, man, I need to know some data because I don't do my research over here. Tell me who's next to them in run differential. Is that what you're going to ask me? Go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to ask you. I was going to answer the question.
Oh, you answer the question without anything? Okay. Go ahead and answer the question. I won't give you any insight.
Yes, they will.
Okay, so you're buying this.
Yes, I'll buy it.
I will too, because I was going to say, whether you need it or not, the next closest in run differential, believe it or not, were the Yankees, your Yankees at plus 69, and the Mets at plus 6. No, don't say nothing. And the Mets at plus 64. I don't know where you're going. Dodgers at plus 54, Cubs at plus 53. But that's still a solid 15 runs behind the Tigers.
This is why when you think you know me, I changed.
Well, I know you. Trust me, I know you.
The reason I didn't say anything was I already knew the Yankees because they said it last night on the broadcast, which was a late broadcast, which I did watch. You were probably in La La Land sleeping.
Yes,
so
late night out.
I knew that they were second, and they had mentioned Detroit. So I said on this, no problem. They're going to finish it because the Yankees aren't going to catch them by the end of May. So
you're buying this
calm and cool. That's me, calm and cool. That's the way I was raised. It's the way I am.
Nah, people should see you when the camera's not on you. You have a face for podcasting, as your late mom used to say. Let's go to and radio. Let's go to the next one. So we agree on 3 of 3 so far. There will be no sweeps, no soup for you, no sweeps for you. In the second round of the NHL or NBA playoffs, currently Edmonton leads Vegas 2-0, and the Knicks lead Boston 2-0. What are you laughing at over there?
Oh, man, because the easiest thing to say is there's no way Vegas is getting swept. I have Vegas winning that series, so I hope they don't get swept. And I had Boston winning the Knicks series. And I just said it 20 minutes ago, if the Knicks go up 3-0, sweep them. Sweep them. But I do feel strongly again, Boston wins today. Vegas wins at least one in this series, if not the series. Edmonton's better than I thought they were. But so I have to sell this. There will be no
sweeps.
No, I'm buying it. There's going to be no sweeps.
Yes, I'm buying it as well. We're agreeing across the board, which is not making this game as fun and as combative as it usually is and needs to be. But it's not about what we want, it's what we need, right? We talked about that earlier, needs and wants. Let's go back to baseball for a second, because earlier this week the Pirates fired Derek Shelton. There will be a second MLB manager that gets dismissed before the end of June to go with Pittsburgh firing Mr. Shelton. Now, there's a couple on the hot seat, one of which saw his team hold on to win last night by the hair on their chins, on the skin of their teeth. We're talking about Brandon Hyde's Orioles, who won in L.A. over the Angels. Bullpen came in. Mr. Cano came in. Felix Bautista made it an easy 1-2-3 in the ninth. The eighth was anything but easy. A bunch of pitches were fouled off. The other manager that's on the griddle, he's got the worst record in the sport. He's a well-respected manager, Bud Black with the Colorado Rockies. There could be someone else, but are you going to buy there's another manager that gets fired before we flip the calendar to June and then July? You're shaking your head, yes, yes, yes. So tell us who and how and why.
Well, it says by the end of June, not the end of May, so end of June.
Yeah.
And I will say at least one does go. And you mentioned the more probable candidates. I hate to see people getting fired. Hyde, he sat through those 100-loss season, I think 2 of them. Then he got the youngsters up there and they're playing right now this year. And I picked the Orioles to win the division. And I don't see they're in last place.
Not playing.
Pitching is atrocious. And it's a shame that we blame everything on the manager. Like Pittsburgh, the problem with the Pirates is the owner doesn't spend. It's not Shelton at all. Though I didn't see him as a manager. I thought he's a tremendous hitting coach, but not a manager. But yeah, I am definitely buying this because somebody's going to be gone by the end of June. Could be a couple.
And how long before Paul Skeens ends up wearing Dodgers or Yankees pinstripes? That's what's
well, it's not. I think he's locked there for 3 more years, and then he's going to the Yankees as long as he stays Paul Skeens. So we'll let Pittsburgh get him ready for us, and then he's coming to the great empire.
Conventional wisdom says you're right here, and it's to buy, but I'm going to differ with you. The Rockies are 6-32, and I don't think firing Bud Black is the answer, despite 7 straight losses, which included a doubleheader loss to Detroit, giving up double-digit runs to the Tigers in both games on Thursday. The Orioles, remember now, the Nationals, what were they just a couple years ago when they won a World Series? Like 17-31, and they were skidding, and they ended up going on to the World Series in 2019. People talking about firing Davey Martinez, and they had that great. They were 19-31 on May 24th. Here it is, May 10th, and they're not 12 under; they're 9 under 500. So I'm not saying the Orioles are going on to win the World Series, but I do think he can get it turned around to a degree. And I think both will make changes, but it might be in the offseason. So I'm going to actually take the gamble here and say that they both get through June without being bounced, even though I'm sure the odds makers and most people, smart money, would be with you. There you have it. Oh, Woody. Oh, no. I love you, Woody, but I didn't want to hear that.
He's a Dodger fan. Okay,
Woody. Okay. Give me a bucket. They buy more guys than the Yankees do, and the Yankees did that.
And Dodgers are bad. They just buy championships. They don't.
It's like Look who's talking over there as you scratch your nose. It's all you
look
guys
at the Yankees. They got 5 guys in the starting lineup, all from the farm system.
Oh no!
Rest my case. Case.
So we differed on one game.
When you get back to managers and head coaches, the biggest problem is when firing guys during the season. And losing is the phrase they lose the locker room. If players tune them out and they're really not playing to their ability and the manager's just out there, that's when a lot of decisions are made. Hey, we got to make a change. Not that they're going to bring somebody in and go on a 10-game winning streak, but it's the idea that the team has just basically turned a deaf ear, and they need something to get that back. So that's why you would see somebody gone.
Okay. And our last buy or sell. What's that?
I said Woody has been with the Dodgers since he's been 6 years old.
Yeah.
He was brainwashed at an early age.
That means, oh, look at you.
Him and our buddy Larry Bowman. Larry Bowman was a Dodger fan, I heard, in the womb.
Buy or sell, the Admirals' final home game of this season will be on Sunday in Game 5 at Scope, which would mean they do not make it out of Quebec having advanced. Are you buying this or selling this? I unfortunately, with limited knowledge of both teams and kind of what I've seen and heard and read, I unfortunately think this is the end of the road for the Admirals. Although the goalkeeping, as somebody told me at one of the games I did go to regular season late in the year, has been sound enough that they could get through. They better be up 3. They better win Sunday, is what I would tell you.
Yeah, they need to win Sunday. What my little knowledge of watching this series with the one game and trying to keep up with it, this Canadian team is bigger, quicker, and stronger. And
tough matchup. Trois-Rivières, tough matchup.
Yeah. So I hope they can win this, but I'm going to buy it also. I think Sunday's their last home game.
Yeah, so you're with me on this. Wow.
Yeah, I hate to say it because I'm a real fan. I want to see them win the Kelly Cup all the way, but this is going to be tough. Maybe we jinx them by saying they're out. They're going to be out. And
well, it would be great for them to get to get another round further, and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm with you. I don't think they. And look, they're going to need someone else to step up in terms of scoring too, because they got the one goal. Like they can't count on another shutout happening. Rare did you see that, by the way? Which, by the way, it happened not just in the Admirals game on Friday night. It happened in the NHL, where you had a shutout that was pitched with Winnipeg blanking Dallas. My pick to win the whole thing, and I'm sticking with that. Dallas over Carolina. That series with Dallas and Winnipeg tied at 1 apiece. Florida outlasting Toronto 5-4. The Maple Leafs still lead that series 2-1 before the series resumes with game number 4 in the Sunshine State against the champion Panthers coming up Sunday night on TBS. Winnipeg, Dallas, game number 4 coming up on Sunday on TBS. Before that, at 4:30 Eastern, you have Caps at Hurricanes tonight and Vegas at Edmonton tonight. How about the 2-on-1 break in the overtime with McDavid and Draisaitl? Those two are fun to watch, aren't they? They're good. They're really good.
Well, my thing, I haven't been watching the professional hockey, National Hockey League, as close as you. I do have my favorites. Of course, my favorites are not in the Penguins, Boston Bruins.
Well, that's okay. You just like adopting teams as you go. So I don't know what the problem is.
No.
That's how you roll.
Penguins and Boston Bruins are my 2 hockey teams I watch the most. And if I only pick one, it would be the Penguins. It's not like my love affair with the Raiders and Steelers, the Bruins and Penguins. But, my favorite player of all time, Gordie Howe. The Wayne Gretzky is the greatest. So, yeah, I've got one of my cherished books. I don't know if I have it up here, is a National Hockey League book on goalie mask, the evolution of the goalie mask. When I read that book, it was almost from start to finish. I loved how it listened about the history of it, the different reasons for the different masks and all that. I like that. Now, I bet you don't even know who's the first guy to wear a mask.
It should have been you.
I didn't play hockey.
I know. That would have been great if you did, though. Someone would have beat the crap out of you. It would have been awesome.
This is what I have to deal with.
I don't know, to answer your question. I don't know. I'm being a smart aleck right now, except you won't use the word aleck. You'll use something else. But go ahead.
Well, I'd like to see if any of the listeners know. Of course, they're going to look it up. But,
yeah, they'll comment and chime in.
Yeah, I'll let them, because we got some great fans that are really into hockey, a whole lot into hockey. So they can let me know who was the first National Hockey League goalie to wear a mask in regular season play.
I'm going to guess it was back in 1930. Is that right? You don't know the year? Wait. You know who it was, but you don't know the year?
It was not 1930.
It wasn't 1930?
No.
Well, that's what the Google machine just told me. The first goalie to wear a mask during a game was Clint Benedict.
It wasn't 1930.
That's what the Google machine says.
No, that Google machine is wrong. You can't believe everything you see on Google.
Wait a minute. I'm looking right at it. He wore that was this in 1930. Clint Benedict was the first NHL goalie to wear a mask during a game. This was a huge shift with previous mask-wearing netminders being amateurs. He wore a mask for 5 NHL games with the Montreal Maroons, the initial one being on February 20th, 1930 against the New York Americans. He wore a thick leather face pad for the first time while playing for the Maroons against the Americans at Madison Square Garden in New York.
When the show's over, I'm going to go find my hockey book and
Wait, you're about to tell the audience it was not him, somebody else?
No, that's the name I have, but I didn't think it was 1930 though.
When do you think it was?
Later.
Well, I'm telling you what the Google machine said. The Google machine's never wrong, unless you. But I could go yell to Alexa back here, who's playing behind the piano. Hey Alexa, tell us how old Ed Young is. So that'd be a great answer for. Oh, did you hear that? 93 years old is what they said. 93.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that's me.
Alexa's great. Thank you, Alexa. You have a swell day.
7 years away from the magic 100 if I can get there.
I wish I had cranked the volume up so people could have heard that. That'd have been awesome. We'll have to do that next week on the show. Get a little intro. Where, in matter of fact, we'll probably have a picture and a little bio of you with Alexa. It's just wonderful. It's beautiful. And then we'll have
Alexa and I have some history. I asked Alexa, she loved me, and she kind of said some nasty things.
Yeah. Well, that's because she knows you've been seeing other people, and she wants someone to be loyal to her, not play in the field, which you like to do. You like to get out and about and play the field. And you got to be loyal and dedicated to Alexa, like me. There you go. And she lets me get in the pool, which we'll have some clips of that coming soon, too. Time for a timeout. We've got Andrew Jones of THI, Tar Heel Illustrated, around the corner. It's all coming your way in just a little bit. But let's hear some more from the sponsors that make it possible for us to do buy or sell. Over under. Is Ed old? Is Ed young? Is he cranky? Is he not? And so much more here on CoVA Sports TV. Back in a bit.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis. But if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams Deloach, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship. And that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, What makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
Watch where we finish this year. Watch where we finish this year. This guy is special. He's special. He knows how to get it done. He's a great communicator, great teacher. He's fun to be around. He makes everybody better, including the coaches. And, we'll see. I'm looking forward for the, spring ball or whatever. I can't wait. We're going to go against the best. Oh, good. Bring it on. Let's see. I can't wait to see that little JUCO kid from Hutch. Bam! We're going to get after his little butt. But anyway, it'll be great. We're excited. And I saw the Mayava guy. I coached his uncle. I hated that kid when I first saw him. A USC kid, a little captain. Remember, he could walk under this table right here. Little guy. And we draft this little runt. I'm like, oh, man. This guy, I was all over this kid during the OTAs. Like, man, this guy, man, you got to run to cover a guy. Anyway, so then I'm like, hey, guys, Sweet Live is going on vacation with the family, going out to Hawaii, going to Maui. I've never been to Maui. I run things in Oahu, but I'm like, I'm going to go to Maui. He's like, hey, Rob, you get in any kind of trouble now, you just tell him you know Kalooks. I'm like, man, yeah, I'm going to tell him I know Kalooks. Get the hell out of here. Walk out there, do the usual. Got me and the wife there. Oh, we're going to have a romantic evening. Go out there, no rent-a-car. What do you mean? You never called for the rent-a-car? I told you she's Greek. I'm like, yeah, they must have lost it. So, of course, I forgot to call. Now they're out of cars. I'm in Maui. I got no car. So what do? I know Kalooks. I got a car. Oh, you know Kalooks? Swear to God, hand to God, true story. I got a van. I'm like, yeah, Kalooks, my man. Anyway, I ended up loving the kid. He was, oh, man, is he mean as a rattlesnake. And there was a reason why that kid was captain with all those first-round draft choices. I love that guy. Ended up, looks can be deceiving.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Oh, there are characters like Ed Young, my co-host, and Rob Ryan, the brother of Rex Ryan, who is the son of the late, great Buddy Ryan, who was the D coordinator for some wonderful teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears during their heyday when they won a Super Bowl in the 1980s under Mike Ditka. And, yeah, he's out there. He's really, really, really out there, Ed. I mean, he's out there.
The funniest part of that is he keeps walking side to side away from the microphone, out of camera range, and keep going on his story, and he's all over the place on his story. Rob Ryan is different.
Yeah.
From what you read, players love playing for him though because he's wild, and passionate in what he does, and he's the lesser known of the Ryan family, but he's never been a head coach, and he never will be. But hey, he's at Southern Cal. He keeps getting jobs, so he must be getting the job done.
And you know who he looks like too? He looks just like, going to our photo lookalike contest we did a couple years ago. He could pass for Jeff Bridges, the dude. See it? That's his photo doppelganger lookalike.
If he colored his hair or Jeff went all white, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It would almost be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude, yeah.
Yeah, he was something else. There's no doubt about it. He was hilarious. No doubt. No doubt.
You gotta bring back your lookalike contest from
I do. There are so many good ones. You know, Rex Ryan, I should say. People say we'll have him on next month. My father, Mike Hatfield. Since it's, we're going to get to the mothers where I'm going with this. People are like, where am I going with this? Mother's Day and Father's Day, I always think about characters and sports athletes and their connection with their moms or their dads. And there have been some athletes that have played, like their dads have played. Obviously, I think now with LeBron and Bronny James, you think of Ken Griffey Sr., Junior and Senior playing together, but you don't really get that with the moms playing and then their sons playing. There are some. Niele Ivey, who coaches Notre Dame women, she played and was a heck of a player. Now she's coaching, and she, of course, has her son Jaden with the Detroit Pistons, but he's hurt right now. But you don't think of the mom-son or mom-daughter as often as you do maybe the dad-son athlete combination. But I do have to bring back the comparison. You're right. I do have to bring it back. Got to get that going.
Pretty neat.
And you're right, Woody. It won't be long. Pool Man will be back on the show, moving and grooving. By the way, it makes me wonder, with it being Mother's Day, who is the most famous sports mom? I'll tell you from the 757. I'm going to shout her out now. We love her. Desiree Finney-Smith. We love us some Des out there. Dorian Finney-Smith's mom. She's one of the all-time greats. Loyal, passionate. When she's in the gym. And she leaps to mind for me on a local front. You got a sports mom being on the pro, college, or high school rank that stood out above the rest, Edward?
Wow, that's a good one.
That's why on this Mother's Day I got to come up with something here for you.
Sports mom.
Yeah. Who's the most famous sports mom out there? I mean, LeBron's mom is not really Gloria James is kind of, she's been in the background. There's not one. Kevin Durant's mom got some attention when he did the crying, and she's the MVP. She's the real MVP. But you don't really think of a lot of sports moms that are out there.
I think one that comes to mind, well, in football, two come to mind.
Okay.
The Watt brothers' mom, because she had 3.
Travis Kelce's mom?
And wasn't Kelsey the one the mom got a specially made shirt with half eagle?
She did, but she's not doing, she's gotten attention because of the 2 sons, but she's not, I wouldn't say she's out there, Donna Kelce.
Getting her own attention. There was a mom, I want to say Emmitt Smith's mom years ago was on the soup commercial.
Oh, that was Donovan McNabb's mom. Wasn't it Donovan McNabb's mom? I think it was Wilma McNabb. Wilma McNabb. I'm pretty sure it was Donovan McNabb's mom.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, on a soup commercial, or she was actually
Donovan McNabb's mom, Wilma. Yeah.
She was the best one on the commercial.
Chunky soup commercial.
Yeah, those ones I can remember.
I'm telling you right now, if they're listening out there, if they cast my gal Desiree Finney-Smith, Des out there, put her on a commercial with Dodo, she will become an instant superstar. I'm telling you, she should be in the commercials. She should be the next one.
She will definitely be
757.
She'll definitely be more boisterous and loud than he will be.
But you know what? She knows what she's talking about. She's out. You hear her, but she's on top of it. Trust me.
Well, she was a pretty doggone good player in her own right back in her day when she played.
And some tremendous athletes, kids. She's done an unbelievable job with all them. But we will be talking a little bit here with Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated. Speaking of some oddball coaches in situations like Bob Ryan there, just going on a wild tangent press conference. Bill Belichick has been in the news. And by the way, we'll address this coming up with AJ, because his website was on top of it before others. I guess Pablo Torre erroneously just wanted attention and put it out there about Jordan Hudson being banned from the facility. We talked about this last week on the show. Want to get AJ's, because his staff and his crew do in-depth reporting, and they've got their ear to the ground. But he had put out there pretty right away that it was not true. His sources had told him that this was, and again, no accountability for Mr. Torre over there, who's an occasional fill-in on PTI, much to my dad's chagrin. He loves Cornhusker Wilbon. Can't stand when Pablo's filling in for Mike there with Uncle Tony. But it was reported widespread, and then they came out and made a statement. They issued a statement later, Ed. UNC said it's not true. Completely not true. So Jordan Hudson, the 24-year-old girlfriend of Bill Belichick, the coach at UNC, who, as we've discussed already, because he is 73 years of age and could be not her father, but her grandfather, is certainly gotten a lot of attention since the 60 Minutes interview. She stepping in, But the reports are now that she has not been banned after it was reported that she was banned. And stay tuned. And right now, I think UNC, in a weird way, though Ohio State's won the last national championship, Michigan won it before it, the Big Ten and SEC dominate the landscape. Much like Colorado with Deion Sanders and his son Shador and Travis Hunter, I think eyes are front and center on UNC football because of Belichick. And there are people out there that believe, well, that's to AJ, he might not make it to game one. This could explode to a point where Bill steps aside or something happens. I don't see that happening whatsoever. I think that's people reaching and grabbing for straws. He's going to coach this football team. Bottom line, he might have had some, cold feet at first there when he was talking with Tom Brady about coaching the NFL still, but he's going to coach this football team. Now, when you got a guy that's that stern and that much of a winner and determined to prove people wrong, he's not going to just bolt because of this. I think people are sadly mistaken on that one. I'd be shocked if he did.
Yeah, I don't. The whole thing is blown out of proportion.
By the way, there's a one from Derek. B.W. Webb. Remember B.W. Webb? We had him on the show back in our radio days out of Warwick High School in William and Mary. Still found B.W. Webb's moms at William and Mary games. I tell you what, and I got to still find out. AJ never got it from me last week, AJ Risser, who that lady was. She's probably somebody's mom from the Orioles. She's become an instant sensation on the mom's front. But go ahead. Your quick take before we take a timeout with AJ.
Yeah, I don't see Belichick stepping aside, down, whatever. He would have it's eyes on North Carolina. When's the last time there's a whole lot of eyes on North Carolina? As long as he's not breaking a law or, committing some kind of egregious immoral thing. And the age difference is what a lot of people want to focus on. He's not breaking any laws there. I mean, it's odd. It's not natural. You don't see it. But then again, it happens all across the country. You just don't hear about it. You hear of younger women with these 80-year-old oil tycoons and whatever people saying they're just for the money, whatever. And I already ranted about this too, where, let's just judge Belichick on his ability to coach the Tar Heels.
Oh, but that's not going to happen. They're already digging into Jordan Hudson's personal life, her background. They have gone in depth on it. Well, you can say it's stupid, and I'm not disagreeing with you on the premise, but that's where our media is. And again, I'm sitting here saying, how does Tory report this for sources, for clicks and attention and retweets and all this to get his name out? And then it's not true. It's not factual. Was it fabricated, or did he have all these sources and all these sources were wrong? That's what baffles me on this.
Well, what it does is we need to do a background check on this Tory dude and take away his credentials.
He's been on ESPN. He's got his own podcast, all that. But again, there's no mea culpa. My bad. I was wrong. Like, that's what gets me. We're in a society now where we can report whatever without, who were your sources? I get sometimes you have to keep your sources close to the vest, but UNC came out with a statement and said that was inaccurate. It was false. That's not true. She hasn't been banned.
Well, like I said, I'm anxious to see what he does. I don't think they're winning a title the first year.
Oh,
we went over the record last week.
Yeah.
Right. We went over the record last week. I think they'll do better than most expect. It's not a blockbuster schedule. So they open up with TCU. That could be a loss right there.
Could be.
So let's just judge him on his coach, because it's something new for this guy. Because I never saw him stepping into the college ranks from where he was at. Never saw it coming.
Well, that's part of the intrigue. That's definitely part of the intrigue, and we'll see how this goes. But they said that she was banned from the Keenan Football Center, and sources told AJ and Tar Heel Illustrated that was not true whatsoever. So we will get to the bottom of all that and what he thinks of the whole Bill Belichick saga and how things are unfolding down there in Chapel Hill, because it's one of the rare times here, even in May, in this wild and wacky world we live in, where college basketball with the portal is constantly in the forefront of minds and people out there. And there are some angry folks at Hubert Davis with another short run in the NCAA tournament, having missed one and having not advanced past the round of 64 this year, when they're just a couple of years, actually 3 years removed from reaching the championship game, losing to Kansas. But where UNC football has upstaged UNC basketball for quite a while now, since his hiring was made official here in the last several months. So we shall see how it all plays out there in Chapel Hill. As always, you're welcome to interact with us. Comment on the chat line. It's on CoVA Sports TV on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, all the different social media platforms on this particular Mother's Day weekend. We've been asking you what game most intrigues you this weekend in the world of sports. To me, it's actually now, believe it or not, it's not Knicks Celtics today like it is for you, I think. But I'm really intrigued by now game number 4, Thunder and Nuggets tomorrow, because the Thunder are still, at last check, I could be wrong, I'll have to double check this, the odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship. And if they go down 3-1, now you wonder about them being on the brink of elimination. Can they win 3 straight to stave off elimination and advance to the Western Conference Finals? And that would make things fascinating, as they have to win a game number 4 in Denver, which I think they will. They're favored by 5.5, I believe it is, at last look. So let us know what you think on CoVA Sports TV.
Hey, speaking of threes, how about Joker, who came to the game in a Joker outfit, which was great?
Yeah, you like that?
10 for 3 from the 3-point line.
Make a 3. We're
What's up
shooting
with
way
these
too many
three-point
threes.
shooters?
Ed. We're shooting way too many threes in college basketball. Way too many.
And pro basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 0 for 10. And he still had, 16 points, 20 rebounds. So still did a job. And he had the best come to the game outfit of the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
You don't have a picture of that anywhere, do you? That we can find it?
Not at my fingertips. That's something you should have said in the pre-production meeting we had at 9:33 a.m. Eastern, that have that ready for us so that we go to.
Oh, I just thought about it now. It's not a big deal.
You like Charles Barkley and Shaq were not at the pre-production meeting we had at 9:33 a.m. Eastern. So,
how about Barkley ripping on the Greek fraternities? Ooh.
Barkley rips on a lot of things. He does. That's sort of his MO.
Well, I think he says some good stuff too, though. But of the two, O'Neal, Barkley, who's your?
Oh, Chuck. Chuck's way more entertaining, because Shaq half the time, as much as he's a big teddy bear, you love him, you can't understand what he's saying half the time. It's like mumble. Yeah. It's mumbleosis. Yeah, you can't understand that.
And his best comeback and only comeback ever is to Barkley is, you ain't never won a title, so keep your mouth shut. Mm-hmm. It ain't all about titles, Shaq. Barkley's one of the best players in the history of the game, and there's a lot of great players that win titles. In basketball, football, it's not one person, okay? If it was wrestling, boxing, tennis, golf, you can get on somebody for not winning a title. But in team sports, it's who's around you too. So
let's take a quick timeout. We've got Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated, the UNC site on the Rivals Network, joining us next to talk about Bill Belichick recruiting and so much more. You're watching 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there, because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
And we welcome you back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and interact with us wherever you are tuning in. And we are now delighted to be joined by a special guest. He is the publisher for the North Carolina site on the Rivals Network, Tar Heel Illustrated. Find them on the web at northcarolina.rivals.com and subscribe today to get all your latest and greatest when it comes to UNC football, basketball, insight, recruiting news, and so much more. Give them a follow on the X2 at Heel Illustrated. We say hello to our pal, Andrew Jones. Andrew, how you doing today?
Matt, how you doing? Ed, how's it going? Good to see you guys again.
Good, Drew. Good to have you on. A lot of talk with UNC football.
Yeah,
let's
lots of stuff going on.
You know, I was
a lot of discussion about backup offensive linemen and battles at cornerback and
that's not important.
The place kicker. That's what you guys want to know, right?
That long snapper, that defensive tackle. Oh wait, there was this 60 minutes interview.
Guys, that long snapper battle is off the charts.
I know it is.
Drew, I don't even care about what's the prospects for that TCU game. First game of the year could be intriguing. We don't even want to know none of that kind of stuff.
You were on top of it, though. I gave you credit earlier because there was this report from Pablo Torre of ESPN that Jordan Hudson, the well-documented, well-publicized companion, professional and personal of one Bill Belichick, the new Tar Heels football coach who's won more Lombardi trophies as the head football coach in the National Football League than anybody, has been banned from the facility. But you had it right away from your sources, and others followed suit to confirm your reports that it was not true. Miss Hudson had not been banned from the facility. I want to know, though, in your world here with message boards now and social media, how much has this created such a firestorm and attention? You've covered UNC basketball, football, all kinds of stories. Where does this one rank right now in terms of, I guess, off-season, but also in-season topics right now?
Well, we had decided to stay away from it until it actually affected football, until it became a football story. Most of the coverage was by non-sports media, the national pundits for politics and just people who have huge followings that talk about social stuff, political stuff, whatever the story of the day is. And very few of them even mention North Carolina. A lot of them I don't think even realize he's coaching in college. Part of it's because he didn't wear Carolina gear in that CBS interview. So the story was really her and him in that relationship. He calls her his creative muse. And because of that, I thought it was a valid question in the CBS interview to ask about her. The person doing the interview never brought up the age, never brought up any of the salaciousness of it. Everybody else did afterward. And we've stayed away from it because if you look at just football and you isolate from that, they're doing phenomenally well recruiting in the portal. They have a top 10 portal class, and their 2026 class is doing exceptionally well. They're going to have a really good shot at having a top 10 class for 2026. So the football side of things appear to be running really well. It's the other stuff. But when this report came out yesterday morning, I got a text from Joe Ovius, who you might know Joe. He does a real popular show here in the Raleigh area. At about 8:15 yesterday morning, hey, look, check this out. So I immediately reached out to some of my sources, and I talked to a couple that are as well placed as you could be on this. And they said right away it's not true, but they also then went into telling me other things I didn't ask about. For example, she's no longer on the email chain. That was just during the transition after Bill was hired in December. She is not an employee of the university. They reiterated that a couple of times. So there's a distancing, but at the same time, she hasn't been banned, so they're saying that. Now, someone may have had a conversation, said you got to dial it back a little bit, but that's not banned. The report said banned, and we said he wasn't banned because that's what our sources say. And I have talked to some people since then. They've seen her in the building in the last few weeks. So she has not been banned.
Two from me before I let Ed jump in here, because I know Ed wants to talk about the age factor and why it's been such a big discussion here in a second, as well as some other things. And by the way, you bring up the UNC football recruiting. I want to touch on that with you too, because I got a chance to be at a lot of showcase days this week in the 757. Actually ran into one of UNC's defensive assistants for Bill Belichick and Chris Jones, who was there watching some of the talent. And they've got some guys that they have their eyes on in the 757. They got a quarterback from our area and on Torrey Newkirk. But two things to hit on there, AJ. One, you talked about creative muse. Do you think it's an issue to anybody at UNC or the fan base that he did that 60 Minutes interview without UNC apparel, the ripped sweatshirt, the Navy sweatshirt that had a hole in it? And two, I'm curious, being the journalist you are for a long time, I feel like, not to make this personal or anything at Publitory, but has he since come out and admitted that his sources, or has he had any statements since others like yourself have put out there that UNC put out a statement that it was not true? She has not been banned. I'm curious. There should be some accountability there, right?
Yeah, he's not going to say anything. We've only talked to him 3 times since he got hired. And one of them was the introductory press conference. And one of them was 2 weeks ago when they announced that they're going to open next season, the 26th season in Ireland against TCU. And we were only allowed to ask questions about that. They said no questions about anything else. So we've had one opportunity that wasn't an introductory press conference, which is very formal, or the Ireland press conference where we actually had a chance to ask questions, and that was the second day of spring practice. And all of his answers were, well, I don't know, I haven't seen the team yet. So we're not getting much, and we didn't expect it, so we're forced to go through a lot of side doors. And the side doors are a little more open now than they were 2 months ago, which is good. You've done this for a long time, Matt. You know you got to keep pecking away. You have to be a woodpecker and just keep pecking away until you get some stuff. But as far as this goes, the university did the statement. So I talked to somebody high up in the athletic department yesterday that said that when Belichick released the statement after the CBS interview, and he did it on what would today be considered North Carolina letterhead, that the athletic department university almost released a statement afterward in full support, acknowledging and all that kind of stuff, but chose not to. And this person really kind of fought hard for it and believes that part of why yesterday happened is because they didn't get out in front beforehand. So there is frustration. There's frustration because it's so un-Carolina-like, and they've been so image conscious for so long. But sometimes I think it's good for North Carolina to not be typical North Carolina, because on the football side, it hadn't worked. They bumped their head against the ceiling a few times, and that's about it. Coaches come in there and think, hey, we're going to be national, and they just kind of overlook what's regional and local, and that's one of the issues that they've had there. So I think what's going on now is frustration with her because of bad press. I don't know if anybody is bothered that he didn't wear Carolina gear in the interview. In a way, now that the interview was spun the way it was, it's probably good he didn't, because I only heard a couple of national people mention North Carolina, and that's it. So in a way, they kind of escaped some of the bad press on that. But honestly, it's a relationship. She is his branding creator. That's her job. I've seen her over there more than I've seen him. I've seen her at basketball games. She is a subject of interest. People take pictures of her at the spring event on April 12th. She walked out on the field. You know, she's dressed like she's going to a nightclub, and it's 2:00 on a Saturday afternoon where it's cold and drizzly, and people are taking pictures of her. They're not watching the practice. So she is a spectacle. It sure seems like she doesn't mind being a spectacle. And I think Bill is okay with it. So there's only so much they can do. It's a relationship. Nobody ever told Mac how to talk about Sally. No one ever told Larry Fedora how to talk about Christy. Nobody ever told John. Well, they may have told John Bunning to have Dawn Bunning dial it down a little bit. But I've covered a lot of coaches. Chuck Amato used to talk about his wife all the time. Right now, Hubert Davis, every post-game press conference, especially at home, his wife is 10 feet away. I covered Mike Krzyzewski. I covered 300 of his games. Mm-hmm. And Mickey was within 15 feet of almost every post-game press conference at home or on the road. So they're there. They're parts of the program. I think here it's just different because A, they're not married, B, the age difference, and C, people can't get past the age difference and the salaciousness of it. So they're not looking for anything normal. They're fixating on what is not usual, what's not typical.
That's what Ed's been saying all along here.
And it's Bill Belichick. It's a guy who's in control of every nook and cranny and morsel of his life, and he's handed it over to her, but maybe this is his evolution. He's allowed to evolve too, and I have to keep an open mind. Because the reason I went ahead and tracked it yesterday, because they said Football Center, that therefore it became a football story, but I have to keep an open mind. I'm not going to judge them or her because that's no issue to me. Our job is to cover football, and as long as we got plenty of football stories to run and we're getting enough information, we're okay. The other stuff will take care of itself. And Ed, you mentioned TCU. If they're up 40-14 in the fourth quarter over TCU, no one's going to give a rat's you-know-what about Jordan Hudson. They're going to be singing Belichick's praises, and the powers that be at North Carolina are going to light the cigars and have another drink because they're going to be excited because that's what they're paying for.
Drew, you really hit everything I wanted to say. You really nailed them all. The press conference, what got me about the press conference was how he was dressed. Even though we know in his other conferences in pro football, he's got a sweatshirt on with cut sleeves, and he's dry in all the interviews. He doesn't have a lot of New England stuff on back in the day. That part kind of got me. And then with Jordan interrupting the conference, well, we're not going to go and say that one. And I had told Matt this on the show last week. That should have been taken care of before the show, so there's no interruption in the show. Because now it brings about more, hey, Amanda, what's going on? Is she running Bill? She's running it. It brings questions that don't need to be done. That should have been done ahead of time. Now, if she interrupts, if we've done that, and she interrupts, I'm Bill, and she interrupts, we're going to have a conversation about that after. Don't do that again.
They could have. They could have. He hasn't done an interview since then, and he could. When Mac Brown was there, he was very open about Sally being hired too. It's like we were hired to do this. He used to refer to her as the team mom, and she would come in every day and have lunch with different players. In fact, we would have the weekly press conference on Monday, and the press conferences at Carolina are done in the lobby of the football center. So people are coming and going. Sally would come in the middle every Monday because she's going upstairs to the second floor to have lunch with different players. During Bill's presser, the second day of spring practice, Jordan comes walking out. She's wearing a Michael Jordan jersey, comes walking out, and it caught everybody's attention because we thought it was a college student because she's young. And little things like that get discussed, but it's really, really dangerous for people in my shoes to go anywhere beyond the football stuff because I didn't care about what Mac and Sally's life was like at home. I didn't care about Christy Fedora and Larry Fedora, Tom O'Brien and his wife. He used to talk about his wife's cooking sometimes. That was all part of what they wanted to address. But in our position, it's very, very dangerous to go in those directions because you don't want to say something that people think, oh, you have inside information. This must be true. That's one reason why we stayed away from it because there's nothing we can add to that part of the conversation that hasn't already been discussed. The only thing we can do is make people think something's really true by giving an opinion on something because we're so close to things. So that's why I've stayed away from it. But there's a lot of interesting aspects of it. If I was an insurance agent and I was watching this play out, I'd have a lot of strong opinions, and a lot of it would be baffling, to be honest with you. But that's not my concern. And I actually think, and one person of power, of influence at North Carolina told me this 2 weeks ago. How cool is it that we get a reinvented Bill Belichick? Because people said the NFL way isn't going to work in college. So maybe this is Bill Belichick not being the New England Patriots guy. He's being the North Carolina guy. And he's around younger guys, and he has a creative muse who understands what those dudes are thinking, understands what their culture is. And I think that maybe there's something to that. I was very surprised that a person of significant influence said that. So he's got support. plenty of support from the football side. Got a lot of people just kind of doing this. And we'll see. If they win, man, nobody gives a crap. If they win, then Jordan Hudson, hooray to her. They'll carry her off the field one game. Who knows if they win 10 or 11 games. But right now, it's that time of year where the silly stuff comes out. And it's so unusual for college sports, for Bill Belichick, and for North Carolina. It's the perfect storm of never seen this at this place before. So that's why I think makes it so intriguing to a lot of people. And I've had a lot of radio requests. I've turned some down because I specifically didn't want to talk about it. I'm doing them now about this because of what happened yesterday, and that's when it became a football story.
Sure, and I want to shift some of this to football here with Andrew Jones, Tar Heel Illustrated. Check out his website, northcarolina.rivals.com. It is the place to go for UNC football, basketball, recruiting coverage on the Rivals Network. Our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. But you brought up some great points there, AJ, because people don't talk about Miss Terry, Nick Saban's wife in his Alabama, and others like that of the ilk of Bill Belichick. But now his companion here is getting all this attention. But there can be some pluses to this, and his staff is interesting. He's got Mike Lombardi as the GM. He's got a former standout running back in Natron Means on his coaching staff. He's got, obviously, his son, Steve Belichick. And you look at UNC, I mentioned this to Ed earlier, it feels like, and we'll get into the recruiting element too, that they're kind of this year's Colorado, what Dion had with the buzz. Certainly there are those national powers, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Penn States, the LSUs, the Georgias that get tons of attention all the time, Big Ten, SEC schools. But UNC, in a lot of ways, as crazy as this is to say, and shout me down if I'm wrong, they've upstaged UNC basketball with what it's done here in these last several months. And in a weird way, there's certainly still a ton of attention and love for UNC basketball. But now as you look at this, as he puts this thing together, what's kind of the ceiling right now in front of them as they move into this coming season? What's the ceiling in your eyes?
I think the basketball point you just made is interesting. Our traffic is still basketball strong because the portal's been going on, and anytime you can add players to North Carolina's basketball program, people are going to be on the edge of their seat. There's also not a tremendous amount of optimism about Hubert Davis. So you've got that part of the teeter-totter down here, and then you've got Belichick with all the optimism, this part of the teeter-totter up here. So I think that it's upstaged it in that sense where people actually think, hey, we have a chance to win big in football, and we're not really sure about Hubert. So this is one of the few times since I've been in this business for 29 years where there's more optimism about football than there is basketball. So I think that speaks to what you're saying. As far as the program itself goes, or as far as the football stuff goes, people are giving him a pass on stuff they didn't give Mac Brown a pass on. And here's an example. If Mac Brown would have, they have no quarterbacks, all right? The Purdue kid came and left. They have Max Johnson, who was injured in the opener at Minnesota last year and still has a limp. And they have a kid, Bryce Baker, a true freshman, who enrolled in January and went to his high school prom last week. Then they have Torrey Newkirk coming in, that you mentioned him earlier. That's it. So they go out and get Gio Lopez, a kid who was all honorable mention, all Sun Belt from South Alabama. If Mac Brown did that, people would have been dumping on him left, right, and center. They'd have been furious. Belichick does it. They think, oh, he sees something in him. So they believe in everything he does. He's brought in a lot of guys from the portal that didn't play much in other places. And people are like, oh, I love that kid. He's got potential. Belichick and Lombardi see the potential. With Mac, they would have said he can't get anybody else. He's just stacking whoever he can get. It's a fascinating thing to watch play out with the fans. And I think the expectations are so high and the belief is so strong in Belichick that if they don't even come close to living up to expectations, the fans are going to crucify him because they're being led to believe once again that the right guy is there and he's the one to wake this sleeping giant. And if he doesn't do it, it'll be a very fascinating case study in human nature to watch how the fans melt down on that one.
Yeah, very much so. Ed?
Drew, again, listen to all this too. It's the idea that when this story hit, I think people were giving the side eye to the age difference, number one. Number two, it's not a wife. As you guys are talking about this guy's wife. It's a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And some people will side eye at that. And, you know, the Bible Belt down here in the South area, they'll look side eye at some of that stuff. as opposed to up in the Northeast where it's fast paced, probably more common. Nobody gives a damn. And you really hit it when it comes down to it. It's Belichick. He's in college football. Carolina, Matt and I said this earlier, Carolina hasn't had the right type of eyes on it for football since who knows when. And it hasn't worked since who knows when. Though I thought Mac Brown was a tremendous coach and just ran his course. And again, it comes down to this. If he's winning games, if they win games, beat people they're not supposed to beat, comes up with a gem out of nowhere and does well in the portal, everybody loves it. None of that other stuff will matter. For most people, there'll still be some looking at it saying, our football coach is dating somebody 50 years, his youngster, and they're not married, blah, blah, blah. That's always going to happen. So you can't worry about all that stuff. But I think, too, if he does win the games, if they win the games, it's going to be good. Now, with that in mind, Drew, and I think we talked about it before, we looked at the schedule. Me personally, just trying to make guesses, I could see 6 wins. I think I could see 6 wins. Of course, depends on personnel. Maybe 7.
I think their over-under is what? Is it 7.5, AJ? I think their over-under is 7.5 for people.
I'm not sure what it is. I've said the range is anywhere from 4 to 10.
Okay.
And it really depends on they still need to get some defensive linemen. They have 3 snaps from the defensive line back from last year. 3 snaps. Wow. And most of the guys they brought in haven't played that much. So they need to get some work done there. They've done very well on the offensive line. And I failed to answer the part of your question, Matt, about the Colorado aspect. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of truth to that, and I think that's part of what North Carolina's paying for. It's a byproduct of it, but I think they wanted to do something that would just shake the tree of Carolina football, and I thought it was smart because they could have had Matt Campbell from Iowa State. My sources tell me that Matt Campbell would have come, and he would have been a fantastic hire, but he wouldn't have shaken the tree. Getting Belichick is North Carolina's way of saying, okay, world, we are all in on this sport. So, and I wrote a column the day he was hired that said, look, even if it doesn't work out, they have made the investment now. So the next time they're looking for a coach, proof is in the pudding that they are going to spend money on football. They're going to spend as much as anybody else does on NIL and on the coaching staff and all that kind of stuff. So I think that needed to happen. And you can't justify doing that with a Matt Campbell. You can with a Bill Belichick. So that's why, in a way, I think it's a brilliant move, even if it doesn't work out, because North Carolina finally decided to step outside of its football shell and try to be in football when it's been in basketball for so long. So I applaud the school for doing that. I talked to a lot of boosters during that process who laughed at first when they confirmed to me that they were talking to Belichick, and 10 days later, they were willing to give him anything he wanted to come because he had sold them on the idea of him being the guy. And they realized, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to make this kind of splash, to be able to show the college football world that we are totally in on college football. So therefore, I think it was a pretty good thing. So that Colorado aspect is there. I don't know if people are going to hate him or love him the way they are with Dion. There's no gray area with Dion, and certainly his kids. With Belichick, I think it's going to be more a curiosity. I think they'll have more NFL eyes. There are a lot of people that only watch the NFL. I think they'll watch that TCU game. I'd be surprised if they don't get 10 million viewers for that TCU game. And they're playing a lot of isolated national TV games this year. As a guy who covers them, I'm going to be leaving a lot of press boxes at 4 o'clock in the morning because they're going to mostly play night games. And if they win, it's going to be a massive, massive story. It's going to be a story that crosses all lines. And because the non-sports media has decided to prioritize this, they're going to check back in. And they're going to find that if Jordan's on the sideline at the end of the Clemson game at home and they beat Clemson and they're 5-0 or whatever, she's going to be a story to a lot of people.
Yes.
And then there's also going to be the winning. So they're going to get a tremendous amount of attention, especially if they win.
Almost becomes a Taylor Swift effect, if you will. Last one for me, and we'll let you run here, Andrew. Thank you for the time.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying, if they're 5-0 and they beat Clemson, oh my God.
Yeah, I can tell you that I've walked by her in the visitors players tunnel at the Dean Dome a few times, and she's always got a little entourage, like a lot of her friends with her. They're all dolled up, and people are walking by and taking pictures and staring at her. So there's a modified version of that already.
Final one, we thank you for the time here. In our world here in the 757 in Virginia, as you know, UNC was recruiting this area very heavily when Dre Bly was an assistant for Mac Brown, and they got guys like Tony Grimes, who was a 5-star defensive back. Now he's at Purdue after going to Texas A&M and UNLV, and George Pettaway, who ended up leaving, among many others from the 7. They still have some guys on the roster from the 757. How hard do you think that the Tidewater area will be recruited by Belichick and his staff? Is it too early to project? What's kind of your feel right now?
They're prioritizing the nation. Okay. They don't care where guys come from.
Okay.
There is no real footprint. They just got a high school commitment last week from a kid from California. They have, I just added up, they have 9 players on the roster from California. They had 5 portal commitments, I think, from California. Those Washington kids, they had 3 or 4 transfers from the University of Washington. They're all California kids. One of them, his little brother, committed as a high school prospect 2 weeks later. So they're recruiting the nation. They got a kid from Ohio a couple of days ago. They have kids from Alabama. They got a commitment from a guy from Texas. They are offering everywhere. They've offered guys in there. We just ran a story the other day, maybe it's today, about a player, an offensive lineman, 4-star offensive lineman in Arizona, in Phoenix. So I don't think they care where kids come from because the Belichick name gets into every door. And the North Carolina brand is understood. No one has to scratch their head and wonder where it is or be surprised that they wear Carolina blue, light blue. They've got a lot to sell, and they're going all in doing that. So I think it's interesting from a standpoint of our coverage. We can't think in terms of the net, the net that Mac put from Washington, D.C. down to south of Atlanta and a little bit of Florida. Now they'll recruit this area a little bit harder, I think, because there's a lot of talent here. The Tidewater area, Charlotte area, and Atlanta, you get players from those 3 places, you go win a national championship every year. The talent is just off the charts. But I think that there's a little bit of arrogance that says we can get anybody from anywhere. If there's a 4-star wide receiver in Tupelo, Mississippi, or in somewhere in upper Montana, they think they can get him. And they're going to go after him. In this day and age, one of the selling points is, look, if you want to play in the NFL and you're from San Diego and you get drafted by the Giants, you got to play on the East Coast. So start living your NFL life now. Start preparing to be an NFL guy now. Get away from mom and dad and come become a professional now. That's been part of the sales pitch. It's interesting. He can back it up at least now, and it's worked so far because I would say half the commits are guys that got to take long plane flights to get to Chapel Hill. So, and they all love it. We've talked to a bunch of them. They all love it. Guys from Southern California, they didn't mind the cold that much because it doesn't stay cold too long in this area. So they love it. And they're recruiting for them. The dudes from outside the region are recruiting hard on campus when players come and make visits. So I think it's a pretty interesting thing they got going on.
And they've got a brand, that's for sure. Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated, the publisher for the UNC site on the Rivals Network. Go check it out, northcarolina.rivals.com. Sign up today. You won't be disappointed if you're a fan of the Heels. Always a pleasure, my friend. Best of luck to your O's the rest of the way. It's been a rough start for them. Night. I know they got a win last night, and Ed, we got to deal with him and his Yankee nonsense. It drives me nuts.
You know what? Aaron Judge can't carry him. You guys got pitching issues like we do.
That's right.
But with injuries, I mean, Kowser and Westberg's out, and the Orioles are so banged up, but they also look like they're just dead. But they're in the American League East, so they're still in it.
Hey, Drew, I picked the Orioles to win the division, even though I'm a Yankee fan. I went to go see the Yankees at Baltimore. Of course, they lose, and then the next night they beat the Orioles 15-2. I watched it on TV, but the game I watched, they look dead. It was coming off a road series in Detroit. But Matt and I talked earlier in the show about managers getting fired, as Pittsburgh just fired theirs. Brandon Hyde's name has come up, and I think that's wrong because here you hired that guy. And he went through some bad seasons with some bad players. Now they're going through the injury phase, and now I'm not saying Baltimore's even talking about getting rid of him, but people are bringing it up. I don't think there's any reason in the world to get rid of Hyde. But you made a good point just now, though. Matt said this to Matt earlier, if the team's attitude is like they shut the manager out or the head coach out, that's usually grounds to get rid of somebody because they, quote, lost the locker room.
Yeah, Westberg's an all-star. He got hurt first weekend of the season. You've got Kauser got hurt, or Westberg got hurt maybe the second week. Kauser got hurt like opening day of the second game, and he's a very, very good player and shores up that outfield with Mullins in center. Tyler O'Neill, the replacement for the power that they lost on the other corner. He's injury prone. I never liked that deal, and he's been injured already. Adley Rushman is really struggling. Looks like, I mean, he looks like he's 35 years old, and he's 28. He's an old 28. So Murray Mountcastle's not popping. Jackson Holliday's starting to hit, but they got a lot of injuries. Grayson Rodriguez was supposed to be the bull on the hill, and he's out, may not even pitch this year. They're waiting for Kyle Bradish to get healthy. Andrew Kitchers, they wouldn't spend a lot of money on him. I didn't like the moves they made in the offseason. They went and gave Charlie Morton $15 million. I mean, he's a tin can. He's terrible. It doesn't make any sense. And they let Corbin Burns go, and they went out and they signed Kyle Gibson a $9 million deal at the end of March and sent him to spring training, extended spring training. The money they spent on some of those guys, they could have spent on Burns and had an ace starter. So, but they got to get healthy. And I agree with you about Brandon Hyde. They got to get healthy. He can't. Emmanuel Rivera's played third base this week. Nobody had that at the beginning of the year. Dylan
got
Carson
thrown at home twice, back-to-back days. Got thrown out the plate, which is crazy.
Yeah. Although the one time I think his hand was in there.
I think he was safe both times, to be honest with you. But yeah.
you're not going to make any noise with Dylan Carson and Emmanuel Rivera and Laureano getting quality at bats. You're not going to do anything with that. So they got to get healthy. And if they don't get healthy, they're going to have to ride this thing out, or they need to make some deals. Mullins is up, contract's up at the end of the year. I would imagine he's got some value on the market. I'd hate to see him go because I like him. I love the way he plays center field. But if this is a lost season, and we won't know for a while if it is because no one's running away in the East. So I don't know who will. I mean, Red Sox are supposed to be a lot better. Mm-hmm. Their fans are pissed. Toronto has spent a crap load of money. Their fans are pissed. Yankee fans probably are not happy, but you're probably in a wait and see mode. Oriole fans are all jumping into the harbor. So and Rays fans are watching a minor league team in a minor league ballpark. It's a weird division here.
Listen, my D-backs who got Burns from your O's, we want to go to the AL East because we can't survive in the NL West. We score 11 runs, and we still can't beat the Dodgers as we gagged in the ninth. So we're stuck because we're in the wrong division. At least you're in the division where you have a chance. We don't.
Yeah, you got some nice players.
We do.
Over there.
We do.
Got a lot. Yeah. What did y'all pay for Burns? Like $35 million a year?
A lot, but we've locked up Marte. Christian Walker left, but the problem right now is the bullpen. You're missing Martinez and AJ Puck, and we can't get it out. We're using Kevin Ginkel, who looks like he's got gook in his eye every time he goes out on the mound in the ninth inning and can't get. You got to face Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman. Have fun with that. And by the way, when you get done with that, you got Tatis Machado and the Padres, and then San Francisco was not shabby either. At least we got games with Colorado, who can't beat anybody. So
hey, Drew, I gave him a deal. I give him Devin Williams for Marte. He won't do it.
No. Not happening.
I like Marte. Marte's a good player.
Great. He's great.
Hey, how long they lock him up for? How long they lock him up for?
He's locked up for a good long while. He's gonna be a D-back for a
while.
while.
That's the other thing with the Orioles. They haven't tried to lock up any of those guys.
No, and that's a problem.
And they didn't spend a ton in the off seasons. They get a new owner comes in. How about this? They had a bobblehead night a couple weeks ago of the owner. Who the hell wants an owner at bobblehead? Especially a guy who didn't spend any money.
It's a good point.
Nobody knows who he was.
Yeah, I mean, that is the height of arrogance.
It is.
I don't know. We've had so many terrible owners over the years. The Angeles family ruined baseball. That was once a phenomenal baseball town. And now they get the Red Sox in town like on a Friday and they get 28,000. People aren't believing. They just
and when I go to see my Yankees play Baltimore, I'm telling you, there's more Yankee fans in the stadium than there are Oriole fans.
You get your little cheering section, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I won't go see the Yankees there because I'd probably get in a fight.
There you go. You're getting a fist fight. Throw a couple of punches. Hey, AJ, always great catching up with you. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk again soon, buddy.
Thanks, Take care, man. Take care, guys.
And as the one only Andrew Jones from Tar Heel Illustrated, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We'll take one last time out and come back here to put the finishing touches on this episode of the program right here on CoVA Sports TV. Stay tuned.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
CoVA Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 Meal Deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
I've learned that one should keep his words, both soft and tender, because one day he may have to eat them. And speaking of eating, I could go for a double cheeseburger right about now. So until next visit, this is Andy Rooney for Wondering Aloud on Poolside Adventures.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, it's been a jam-packed show. We want to thank all of you for interacting with us and tuning in. Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated for coming on the program, as well as the interview with Lonnie Andrews III of Oscar Smith. Any final parting thoughts before we bid adieu on this particular Saturday? Ed, want to go through some quick, we got 4 games today, hockey and basketball, 4 tomorrow. You want to make some predictions on who wins, who prevails?
Yeah, this will be those that want to put some shekels down, some few
Go
pennies.
opposite of what Ed says, yeah.
Go opposite of what we say. Okay. Give me the Celtics over the Knicks today.
They're favored by 5.5. Will they cover?
Yes, they'll cover.
Okay, they will cover, you say. All right.
What's the other game today? Is
Timberwolves and Warriors, game number 3. Minnesota favored by 5.5 in Golden State.
Minnesota by 3.
By 3, you say. Okay. I'm going to go with the Celtics to win, and I think they will cover just barely by the hair on their chinny chin chins, and the Wolves will win and cover. So you got the Warriors covering and winning. Let's flip it over to the hockey before we come back to Sunday's action. Capitals at Hurricanes, deadlocked at 1 apiece. Game number 3. Canes minus 230 on the money line. I'm going to go with Carolina to go up 2-1 on Ovechkin and the boys.
Yeah, that's my thought. I think Carolina wins this 2-1.
2-1. Okay, so you stay away from the puck. You stay away from the puck line, as they say. Puck line. It's clean. Golden Knights of Vegas at Edmonton. It's 2-love. It's even on the money line pretty much. I think Vegas will get one to keep this from being a sweep, and this is the one they get. Because if they don't win this one, it could be a sweep. I'll go with Vegas to get it done.
I hate to do it. I agree with the exact reason what you just said. This is the one they have to get. And I think they do get it 3-2 overtime.
Ooh, OT says. Let's snake it from Sunday hockey and go back to the basketball. 4:30 Eastern on Sunday. Jets at Stars. Winnipeg, Dallas. It's deadlocked at 1 apiece. Dallas minus 145 on the money line. Give me the Stars to bounce back. They won't get shut out again. I think they'll get a couple of key goals. Robertson might be the guy to get it done for him. Give me the Stars 4-2 in that one.
I go Stars 2-1. Go back to my 2-1.
And then Maple Leafs at Panthers, 7:30 Eastern on TBS to follow that. I'm going to go with the Panthers to even it up at 2 apiece as they head back to Toronto, Air Canada.
I think I picked Panthers in 7 in this, so let me go with the Panthers also. I'm going to go big, 4-1.
All right, look out for Sammy Reinhart and the Panthers to get it done. He says 4-1 over the Leafs, who a lot of people think this is finally the time. They've been so heartbroken and snake-bitten in these big playoff moments over the years. Let's go back to the NBA for Sunday. Game number 4 in Denver. Thunder, Nuggets in Colorado. Thunder favored by now 6.5. 240 on the money line. Do they even it up, or does Denver take a commanding 3-1 lead? If you got Nuggets in 7, you might have to go with Joker to bounce back from a substandard game for him.
You know, I think Joker does. I think he hits a 3 this time.
Ooh.
But I think the Thunder win this, a close one, win this by 3.
I go. So you're going Nuggets with the spread, Thunder and the money line. You hedge it. I'm going to go Thunder by 10 to get it done. And then a really interesting game number 4. You know, Bill and his Cavaliers fans will be watching it. Cleveland at Indiana, game number 4. Cavs minus 5.5 in this game. And the Pacers trying to get a 3-1 lead. I think the Pacers will cover this spread. And I hate to do this to you, Bill, but I see the Pacers eking this out in OT by 2 with Halliburton hitting another big shot. That's how I see it, unfortunately.
Indiana by 6.
By 6. Wow. I'm surprised at the dog in this game. Got to get better performance from Ty Jerome. All right, and you're a hockey right now. I'm still going Dallas over Carolina. NBA, I'm now shifting it OKC over Indiana. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm going to stay begrudgingly. I'm going to stay with. I had the Celtics over the Nuggets.
No chance.
I'm going to keep that. Believe it or not, I'm going to keep it.
No chance.
Hockey. You know what? Hockey. Who did I have? I think I had the Knights in the West. I can't remember who I had in the East. Was it the Stars?
No, the Stars in the West.
Panthers. I think I had the Panthers.
Yeah.
I had the Knights over the Panthers. Both of them look destined not to win.
But you can change it if you like.
I'm going to stay with it right now. Change it next week.
Dog's barking. It means Ed's got to say goodbye. So we know what he's time. The coach, I'm Matt Hatfield. We'll mute you, and we'll talk next Saturday here on CoVA Sports TV. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you then.